Here is another bit of apparent evidence for my hatred of women from the Papa Gut stream.
I'm the Papa Gut stream!
The reason why I'm able to make this video is because I've done absolutely nothing wrong with my time online.
What about when you made a video on a transgender woman that was so ignorant and transphobic that you had to delete it? Your first video on Lily Tino is now only available on Papa Gut stream VOD now.
Yeah, she came in and admitted that her video was so bad.
Where exactly was the nuance when you started off your videos on accusations and attempted with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure edits?
The gloves really just came off. It's January 2025. It's time to make learning to be self-aware. That's got to be your New Year's resolution. All right, let's get right into it. I'm kind of curious. It's funny because a couple of people have been coming into my video after this video was made by, I don't know how to say this guy's name, Dankyjabo. I don't know. After he made this video, people are like, oh my God, can you please cover this situation? And I'm like, yeah, of course, I'm going to cover an update. I've already covered this before. I had a conversation with like Lewis McClung and Katiclyzm the first time after I was reacting to Lewis's video. Like, they came in here, they disagree with me. I think it was a generally productive conversation. You know, I didn't go too hard on them. I was really just trying to get them. I was trying to get them in the long run to change their mind. She seemed very quick to change her mind. So that was good. He was doubling down a little bit. I'm gonna be real with you, young man, young woman. I'm thinking that maybe he likes her a little bit, and he was trying to go to bat for her a little too hard. So I can kind of appreciate that to some extent. I mean, like, I kind of get it. That's the vibe I got, you know. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, this all centralizes around I'm Alex. I guess this was an editor from I'm Alex. Apparently he used to be poor. I'm Alex gave him a shot, which I think was going to cause him to maybe even be, in some instances, too charitable to I'm Alex. But I can get it. If I was a poor dude and someone gave me a shot, it would take me a little bit more than other people would need to change my perspective. But mostly, somebody reached out to him in his DMs. He shouldn't have responded. They're like, hey, you support that really bad guy. Basically, I'm paraphrasing. I'm sure we'll see the specifics as we do this. He said, oh no, I hate the annoying orange. That's a meme, apparently. I didn't know this. In the Alex's community, kind of, like, they call him the annoying orange. I think most people like myself, and probably what I think it is they assume that he was just trying to make a cringe joke about the guy being bad. But Lewis and Katiclyzm interpreted it as him just trying to deflect. So basically, they thought, like, they thought that he was just trying to be like, oh yeah, I hate Raphael from Ninja Turtles, like, just trying to throw it, like, just pretend like the whole conversation's a meme. And that's where their perspective started from. You know, that conversation I had with them, which is timestamped in my other video. I'll put it in the description for the actual video. You know, that's she's very quick to change her mind. They double down on some stuff, but, you know, in their defense, for any person, you know, everybody has an anchor bias. It takes more to get people to change their mind than it does for people to believe something in the first place. So, you know, they have a certain belief, and it's going to take more energy to get them away from that belief than it would be to get them to believe it in the first place. So, you know, hopefully they're getting there. I see that he removed his video, his live stream. We might take a look at the live stream. I don't really know. These are their responses here. Only because, like, I don't know. I think maybe he knows he fucked up. It just might take him a while to come to it. I don't know, maybe being too charitable. But anyway, let's get this going, man. And just, you know, if you like the content, there's a Papa Gut Leftovers channel that has more content just like this, except a little bit shorter. So take a look. Let's get this party started, though.
Address this situation because so originally I wasn't going to address this situation because it's all based on petty, baseless gossip and huge lies that frankly weren't worth responding to. But
oh man, he's coming out swinging. He's coming out swinging.
Recently, it's become so much bigger than I ever thought it would, so I figured I'd set the record straight. For the last few months, I've been the target of a harassment campaign from Lewis McClung and Katiclyzm. They've been lying about me both privately and publicly and past.
He has very nice curls. These young men have, like, weird, they all have nice hair. Even this guy. He was, all right, that's weird. He has a fan on, by the way, if you watch the video. He's got a fan on the whole time. You see it? They're so weird. I don't get it. It's all like a theater thing. You know what this is? These are all theater nerds. They're all gay theater guys. You know, and then, like, sorry, I'm a little, you know, yeah, I'm sorry. But it's just, like, so silly to me.
Passing off huge false assumptions as fact when there is no evidence to support them. The two main claims that
January is fucking, it's just the cancel economy in January, man. It's crazy.
They make are that I'm a misogynist and that I'm supporting an abuser.
Yeah, see, the misogynist claim that Lewis made, I mean, maybe it's there. And this is one of the questions I asked him. I said, like, do you think you did a good job of portraying him as some kind of misogynist in your video? And he seemed to be a little bit stumped by that question. So, you know, if he is, which he doesn't seem to be, why didn't you show us that in your video?
In Lewis's video, he details all of the supposed allegations.
The accusations against Dankyjabo, aka Jesse, go as follows. Lying to your audience, using hateful derogatory speech towards women, silencing those who are against you, and lying to and manipulating your audience, those who hold you as sanctity, honestly.
All of these allegations are either lies or baseless assumptions based on nothing but pure conjecture. For those who are unaware, I used to edit for I'm Alex.
Yeah, very bad guy. You can kind of just see it in his eyes. Sorry for stereotyping, but it's kind of true.
Me and Alex were not friends during this period, and it was purely a business relationship. In fact,
I wouldn't have cared if you were friends. You know, if you were, it doesn't mean that you saw all the terrible things. If he gave you a job, I can understand why sometimes it could be hard for you to set boundaries, especially if you're younger and you don't have as much money. You might be a little blinded by the money, and maybe you let the warning signs go because you're young, you don't necessarily get it, or again, you got some of that money, so you kind of brush stuff aside. I mean, I wouldn't have blamed him if he was friends. He could have came out here and said I was really good friends with him, and when I'm out, like all the stuff came out about I'm Alex, it sent me into like kind of a tailspin. I just didn't know what to think, and I'd be like, okay, that's totally normal and human, you know.
The last time I ever spoke to the man was when I received my last payment from him 6 months ago. Despite this, Lewis McClung and Katiclyzm have made it out as though me and Alex were and continue to be close friends, and that I'm even being mentored by him.
Yeah, one of them is because their thumbnails are the same. And I'm like, this is how it works in everybody's sphere. Everybody does similar thumbnails and styles in general, you know?
Obviously, there is no evidence to support this because it's not true, so the two resort to grasping at straws, lying, and making things up to pass me off as an abuse apologist. One of the only pieces of evidence that they show—
This guy sounds very British.
—are that our thumbnails are similar.
You can even tell the blatant mentoring through the exact same thumbnail design. They use the—
This is just one of the things that I said to them. It's just like, this is how every YouTube sphere works, is that there's usually there's a leader in that sphere that does it something a certain way, and then everybody kind of does the same thing. You know, wow, incredible words. Even if he hadn't been an editor for Alex, he probably would have done the same style. Right? Because this is kind of just how everybody does stuff in certain spheres. And it kind of makes sense. Like, have a level of imitation for people who are successful in your sphere. You shouldn't rip the content completely, but it makes sense for people to do stuff like this.
exact same
It's just so stupid.
thumbnail design. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just more proof that he mentored him or taught him his ways.
I mean, these are just YouTube thumbnails. It's ridiculous that these can be counted as any type of evidence that me and him have some sort of relationship. And by the way, this is also a point made by both Katiclyzm and an actual old friend of Alex and Jake Baz, who was previously featured on his channel before.
When Alex stopped posting because of everything that happened, Jesse then
Is this a TikTok or what is this?
started posting very much in the style of Alex, with Alex's thumbnails, etc., etc.
I mean, that's the time to go on it, right? Once I'm at, right?
Started posting. Alex stopped.
Friend of Alex and Jake Baz, who was previously featured on his channel before.
When Alex stopped posting.
That's the time to start copying the content, though, isn't it? I'm not trying to be that guy, but like, if I was DJ Janky Boops, I don't know how to say this guy's names. I would absolutely, I'd be like, he's gone. There's a massive gap in this sphere now. I'm gonna make the same thumbnails. I'm gonna talk about the same topics. I'm gonna steal all that attention. Are you kidding? I would totally do that. That's just smart business. That's just smart business. There's a bunch of people who are attracted to the thumbnails, attracted to those titles, attracted to those topics. As a businessman, it makes 100% sense to be like, oh my god, Alex is gone because he's an actual scumbag. I'm gonna just do what he was doing without the abusing women part, and it's like great. And also just being a whinging fuck. He just is so annoying, even outside of abusing women. If anything, the abusing of the women is probably not even the worst thing he's been doing. Let's be honest with you. He's just annoying. And obviously, annoying men is worse than actually hurting women. Just kidding. But yeah, man.
Alex with Alex's thumbnails, etc., etc.
Coincidentally,
no. No. Just we're not doing this. Come on. This looks kind of like I'm Alex.
your thumbnails seems to be only since he's quit. Your thumbnails have started getting a lot more like Alex's.
Well, good, smart.
Which is weird. Why would you only just start doing that now, coincidentally, when he stops uploading?
However,
I don't know, probably because that's the perfect time to do it. It's a bunch of people looking for a new creator to watch, and it's very similar content. Also, man, we gotta stop this with the whole weird thing. Because when I say something's weird, I'm talking about like, oh, you know, this is silly. Like, you know, when your balls smell. That's weird. When these guys say weird, there's like an undertone of like predatory suggestion there. And it's like, we have to stop. You guys have to stop doing that. It's not healthy. It's really not healthy to be obsessed with trying to sensationalize the wrongdoings of people.
the great irony of this point is that the very thumbnails on the streams that my thumbnails are being criticized on are the exact thumbnail style that somehow prove that Alex is mentoring.
They're all very similar thumbnail styles, though. Or is this just all his?
And not only that, but Katiclyzm still continues to use the very thumbnails that she's criticizing me for to this day.
That's kind of a good point there.
That logic.
Yeah, but they're pink.
Is she also being mentored by Alex? No. Obviously not, because it's just a YouTube thumbnail. And like I said, I haven't spoken to Alex since my last payment from him. He has nothing to do with my channel. Another ridiculous piece of evidence that they use is that I still follow I'm Alex's Instagram account.
Also,
yeah, maybe he just accidentally kept it going. That's what I had assumed. That he just accidentally kept it going. Or something, you know?
So what some people have noticed, which is what Katie alluded to in a video as well.
I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I'm going to be absolutely real. And this is one of the reasons why I'm probably not going to go in on this Lewis guy. Or, you know, what is this guy's syndrome? Because I guarantee you that these two dudes are riding hard for this girl, Katiclyzm, because they find her attractive and they want some of that. This is just like, this is what's happening. Instead of like simping classrooms, now these guys with like rather large platforms or reasonably sized platforms, they utilize those platforms to be like, I really want this girl to notice me. Yeah, you know what? This guy is a bad guy. I'm gonna make a video about it, and then I'm gonna make a video about it, guys. I'm making a video, and then I'm gonna put a fan on my hair, and I'm gonna just let it. I'm going to let it waft around. Just going to let it do this. Look at his hair. Look at this. You know what I mean? He's trying to be sexy for her. And you know what? As a man, I kind of get it. Not for her, not my type, but I kind of get it. These young guys are looking, they're looking. It's a tactic, but you guys got to change your tactic a little bit, okay? Come on.
Is that Dankyjabo is still following Alex, so...
Yeah, very concerning.
This is true.
Who cares?
If I had a look earlier before the stream. So Dankyjabo is following Alex, and he's still followed by
like to the store or
Alex as well. So
whatever.
they're still around each other. That's what I do know.
Apparently.
I don't think it's that deep, but okay.
And still now, Jesse followed and still follows I'm Alex.
Now, Dankyjabo was still following Alex.
A follow could mean anything. It does not mean...
It could mean he forgot. Again, it could mean that he was friends with Alex in the past, and he has a hard time letting go. And I feel like, how is that so bad? Like, he's obviously going to deny that he was, like, ever friends with Alex. But, like, what's the worst case scenario? If he actually was friends with Alex back in the day before he knew the guy was bad, if the guy gave him like a huge opportunity and like platformed this guy, and like I heard that he had like no money before it, I can understand why it would take him more to be unfriendly with Alex. You know, I could see it just on a human level. I would get it. I would kind of get it. You know, a young guy got his start from this other guy, didn't have a whole lot of money before. Maybe he is a little too friendly with him. And it's like, that's a criticism. Like, hey, you shouldn't be. That's it. That's the energy. Yeah, you probably shouldn't be doing that. That's the energy we need. We need a whole video about it. Honestly.
An endorsement. Katiclyzm, your friend Alice still follows Lewis Bucket on Instagram, who you've publicly called out on your channel before.
I'm just annoyed. Because why is the commentary scene full of absolute fucking morons? Lewis Buchan, you're a fucking idiot.
This is tough, girl.
You're a creep. Get offline.
It's tough. A lot of youngsters on the internet. A lot of youngsters on the internet struggling, I'll tell you. Struggling. You guys got to chill with this energy.
I hate you, and you should not be online. You do.
Let me tell you when it comes to this energy, I'm telling you right now, it's better to dial the energy down, even though you will get less views, because that's what happens when you don't sensationalize as much. But you will have a longer following. You will last longer. You won't get as many views at the top, but you will last longer. because like the energy's too intense. You're generating an audience of people with that energy, and they will use it against you the second that it becomes convenient. And I'm telling you that half the people in this drama with the DJ Dankyjabo, they're stupid. Sorry, but a lot of them are dumb. So like they're going to change their mind for every new response. They don't really like, they're just like the swirls in their eyes watching a children's cartoon. Like they're just being told what to say. They're not critically thinking. And like that's the people that you're generating. So the second anything happens, you could stub your toe and say fuck, and they'll be like, "Why can't you believe that?" And they'll melt out. You don't want those people in your audience. You gotta be careful.
Dirty scumbag. They just don't deserve platforms, do they? They don't. They fucking don't.
So does this mean that Alice and Lewis Buchan are close friends and that she's endorsing everything that he's done?
Maybe he's got good game.
I personally don't think so. The next piece of evidence they use is a DM that Katiclyzm leaked of me making a joke.
And someone reached out to be like, hey, is there a reason you're still following an abuser? And many people will say this is petty, all right? Who cares about who's following who? But the reasoning they had more concern is because Dankyjabo was previously
Is it Dankyjabo? All right, sorry, but I'm going to say it the right way from now on.
Alex's editor. So you can already see there's a little bit of concern to be had there. Without jumping to conclusions,
really.
There's some concern to be had. And Dankyjabo basically responded, taking the piss.
I have an editor. Doesn't mean that they're responsible for all the degeneracy that I engage in offline,
out of the situation as if it was nothing.
Because one of Alice's friends decided to reach out to him and ask why, if it was an accident, if he meant to unfollow him, or if he just didn't know what was going on, which was unlikely, and is still unlikely, and is very impossible now. Is there any reason you still follow and work for an abusive piece of shit? They're talking about Alex, and there's nobody else they could be talking about. I'm so sorry, mate. I'm not doing an accent. I'm not, you can't know.
That one's for Katiclyzm, guys. He's saying... He's saying it for Katiclyzm, guys. Okay.
Sorry, mate. I'll unfollow the annoying orange right now. So you defend abusers. I'm Alex, and work for them. And that means they said it there. That means you can't ignore it. That means, yeah, maybe they could have meant something else. Maybe they could have meant the annoying orange. I don't know. I wasn't there. Maybe.
So like this is pretty much it. This is stupid meme with this just really bad guy's community. That's it. It's just a meme. It's just people would call him the annoying orange because he is ugly and looks like the annoying orange, and so I guess he embraced the meme at that point. But I genuinely think that this Dankyjabo, I don't like that name, by the way, but whatever. It just doesn't flow well, Anyway, I'm being weirdly judgmental today. I'm so sorry. I think he was doing it to try to be insulting, but he just comes off as a little awkward. It's really not that big of a deal.
The annoying orange was an abusive prick. I wasn't part of the show. I don't know. But the response will baffle you. I would never defend or support the annoying orange. He gaslights all the fruit in the kitchen. How dare you accuse me of such a thing?
Now let's be clear here.
What does the annoying orange sound like?
Yes or no? I never said I would answer yes or no.
Wouldn't know. I don't know. But the
I'm just saying, bro. It's tough. It's just a tough one.
Response will baffle you.
It's just a little similar. Sorry, bud.
I would never defend or support the annoying orange. He gaslights all the fruit in the kitchen.
Yeah, the beef curtains thing was silly. I think that the beef curtains thing was just they were looking to still believe that he was a bad guy because they convinced themselves that he was, and it was like again that anchor bias.
How dare you accuse me of such a thing?
Now let's be clear here. It's very obvious that this person was not messaging me just to inquire, as Lewis states.
No, they were messaging him to try to cancel him. That's why you just shouldn't have responded in the first place. That's a little bit your bad, but it's like you didn't do anything wrong. It's just as a creator, you should know. That's a little bit your bad though. Like they were looking for attention. They're looking to. I wouldn't even doubt if it was one of them with a fake account. They're looking to try to go after you. I really wouldn't. I honestly wouldn't doubt if that account was one of the three of them that was just trying to start like a problem. But that's how people do it.
This is a complete stranger who was getting hostile with me in my DMs off the bat, and I was honestly sick of people messaging me about my former boss, whom I have no involvement with. It's very egotistical and narcissistic to say that people have to take random adversarial DMs seriously, and that if they don't, that they're covert abusers.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, too, actually. I hadn't even considered that. Maybe he was just like, oh, what a fucking moron for even messaging me in the first place. I'm going to fuck with them. That's potentially true. I mean, like, I don't respond to people. I just pretty have like I have a pretty hard line. Like, I almost never respond to messages that people send me privately. But like, there's plenty of times where somebody said something and I've wanted to respond and be like, wow, you're just so fucking dumb. You were just so stupid. But I don't, because it's unprofessional, you know?
People aren't actually required to take you seriously if you DM them out of the blue demanding answers despite you being a complete stranger. Now, with that being said, obviously what I should have done is ignore it, and I'll admit it was wrong of me not to. But I made this joke to mock the person.
It wasn't really wrong. Morally, it was neutral. It didn't matter. But, like, from a creator perspective, like, it was a bad choice, because optically it makes you look a little silly, but it's not a big deal.
For sending me this DM, and to imply that it's any more than that is simply unfair.
How hard is it to just carry what you say in your videos into real life? And if Dankyjabo, Jesse, had done that, he would not have replied being like, I would never, like, follow the annoying orange. Like, you would have just been like, yeah, maybe I should take abuse seriously considering my channel.
Yeah, this is drama between a bunch of 20-year-olds, by the way. Some of you guys might not look at that and go like, oh, that's a good point. But, like, I feel like when you get a little older like me, you look at this and just like, what are you guys doing? This is fucking crazy.
And my bills are...
I genuinely wonder if, like, the three of these three individuals that were going after the Danky, whatever, I wonder, how far this came after a potential like takedown of somebody who was truly bad, because this is one of the things that happens for a lot of people is they'll have like a really hit video that does really well and then they try to emulate that. If you're doing squishy sand videos, obviously it doesn't matter, go squish some sand, I don't know, step in it, I don't know. But if you're doing like commentary videos, especially on, you know, serious situations, you know, what happens is a serious situation comes up, you get a lot of views, and then there's no serious situations because they're few and far between. And so you almost have to craft a new serious situation, and you have to get your audience to buy into it that it's serious so that you can keep those views up. And you got to be really careful about that kind of stuff because you know, it creeps up on you. Sometimes you don't even realize it, but like the views are addictive.
Are built upon talking about abuse. It's virtue signaling. It is. It is.
Yeah, I think I agree. Totally agree with that one.
Made one joke about the annoying orange and now you're trying to paint my entire channel out to be manipulative, disingenuous, and virtue signaling and label me as a misogynist who defends and supports abuse.
It's funny because, like, no offense, I'm not saying I'm a high effort content creator, but all these guys, it looks like they all do like the same shit. They watch someone else's video about some content creator, then they just make a fucking video about it. It's like there's nothing even there in the first place. They're all making the same thing. It's just like they're consuming their own. But now he comes out on top because he got wrongfully accused of this shit. It's just so funny.
Yeah, it's an easy follow. I'm confused on how so many of you are also confused. Alex is an abuser. Dankyjabo worked for him previously and is now defending him. It's really, I fear it's not that hard.
No.
Yeah, it's so tough though. It's just so tough with this because like it feels like you're trying so hard to capitalize on the abuse that this guy committed. Because watching the stuff on I'm Alex, like I think it's unanimously understood that he is a truly horrific person. Most people who, like, everybody, you know, even the edgier guys are looking at this guy going like, wow, this guy's a scumbag. So it's one of those things where it's almost, I mean, maybe I'm Alex was that focal point. It's like you're looking for another I'm Alex. It's like, well, who better than somebody who's an editor? I can mentally place these, or I can mentally associate these two very easily for an audience of people. And you're going after him, and it's like that's, you know, for some people it almost comes off as, you know, you're almost happy that I'm Alex is an abuser. And I'm not trying to sit here and like shit on these people. Some of them might deserve it, but I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to get you to understand that like your your frame of thought, you probably just don't even realize how warped it is. You're like somebody with an anger problem, right? Like that's one of the things is that like you don't realize that the way that you're perceiving situations is not very, it's toxic. And so you're looking at this and you guys, it's almost like you want him to be an abuser so that you can make content out of it. And when you're covering serious, that's how it feels to me. And I could be wrong, you know, and that doesn't, you know, it's more of like, if they're watching it, which they might be, they watched my last stream, we talked, like put that in your head, like really try to sit down and consider how you interact with things, how you interact with scenarios like that. because that's very unhealthy for you to do. When you get excited that somebody might be a bad guy, so you get to make content and money off of it, you know, you need to, it's one thing to cover a topic and make money on it, which I think is totally fine. It's another thing to want that thing to happen so you can cover the topic to make money. Those are your two differences.
No, I am not, and I never have defended him. A follow on Instagram and a joke about the annoying orange do not count as a defense. You have no actual evidence of this claim because it's very obviously not true. Lewis and Katie also tried to make it seem as though I was being willfully manipulated by Alex.
This apparently made him feel as though
Willfully manipulated? I mean, maybe he was being manipulated, but willfully is crazy word.
he owed Alex some gratitude. If you ask me, that sounds like you're willingly let somebody manipulate you, but that might just be me.
A lot of people
That's such a silly thing to say. It's such a silly thing to say.
worked alongside Alex. Alex knew what he was doing to an extent. You have to give him that. People wanted Alex's help, and from what I've heard, Alex did help a lot of people, and people felt obliged to stick by him. And I do think this is definitely a form of manipulation, and I don't necessarily blame every single person who feels iffy about saying anything about Alex because they've helped him. But standing by somebody who has been outed as an abuser or who you know is an abuser just because Alex has done, for example, a little bit for you and helped your career, you're a scumbag, you're an enabler, and you don't genuinely believe in what you're talking about.
It's interesting because when I was having the conversation with them, she talked about her experiences with like abuse and stuff. And she talked about how because of that, she had the ability, like, you know, she had a certain amount of insight on the topic, which is fair. But the problem is that like this is very out of touch for somebody, for something like that. I feel like most people would understand if you were somebody who grew up poor and you got your opportunity from somebody else and it helped make you money and helped make you a career and it's changed your life completely. Why it would take a lot more to kind of push you over the edge. You know, I don't know.
A little example I have here is I received a screenshot from Alice, which was one of Alice's friends in contact with a content creator called Dankyjabo.
I wasn't being exploited. I was working a job and being paid for my work. And it was in an industry that I've always wanted to be a part of, so I was grateful for the opportunity. I edited his YouTube videos, and he paid me. I was an employee. That was all that was happening. To try and paint it out as though there was something inherently corrupt going on here is just strange and inaccurate. I worked for him remotely, we never even met personally, he paid me, and we barely spoke.
It's funny because this might not be true, but he could just deny it. Which is, it doesn't even matter if it is true, if they were friends. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make him a bad guy. Because after the fact, that he obviously changed his perspective. It doesn't really matter.
There was really nothing more interesting going on than that.
He's being a dickhead, a doofus, even kind of a, you know, intolerable cringe bastard. But that's fine. That's your right. The problem is that he makes almost only content, almost entirely, almost exclusively on content about either women being abused or abusive women. Like, that's, if you scroll down.
What's so funny is I remember they said this and I made a comment in the conversation and I was like, that's pretty much all the scenarios though, right? Like, it's, you're either talking about women being abused or women being the abusers. It's like, well, what other scenario really is there? Generally speaking, it's going to be a guy abusing a girl or a girl abusing a guy. There's obviously going to be, it's obviously more than just that, but I would say 90% of the time, like, that's what you're going to be talking about. It's like, so it's like, you didn't really say anything with that.
In the past 6 months, that's it.
This is ridiculous to try and paint my channel in a way where I only cover abusive relationships, and then go on to show a screenshot where only one of the 16 videos shown is about an abusive relationship.
I don't even know any of these other things. I know her, the fake poop diaper girl. That's pretty much it.
And to show that video
a schoolboy
twice in the same screenshot to make it look more like I cover them exclusively is so blatantly manipulative in his same screen.
That's interesting. It seems like they have two rows here. This is weird. Actually, yeah.
Screenshot to make it look more like I cover them exclusively is so blatantly manipulative and hypocritical when you're calling me out for being a manipulative.
I don't really get why they did this, though. Is this like a real screenshot? Like, why did they copy? I didn't even notice it. Like, they just copied this row. So it looks like they took a screenshot of this and then took a screenshot of this. Why would they do that? Wait, that's so strange, though. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I mean, the only thing I can come to the conclusion is that they felt like the stuff that was further down Um, this is actually so strange. What comes after? These would have been the other 4 after it. It would have been this one here, the shocking truth about Mercury Stardust. This one here, the influencer. This one here, Onision, which is another abusive situation, and then Onision again. Did they not want the Onision stuff in there? Did they think it would make him look too good? Because that's technically an abusive relationship. But it's strange that they did that. I don't even know. I really couldn't even explain to you why they would do that. It's just bizarre.
A hypocrite. Of the 42 commentary videos that I have made thus far, only 3 of them are about abusive relationships. So
well, that's not entirely true. I don't think he's lying, but I think that like if you look at them, you could potentially, I mean, you could draw like, oh, this is a little, I guess not a relationship, but this guy's a fucking predator. The Onision story, that's fundamentally what it's about, right? So that's kind of like that. I don't think he's lying. I just don't think that their framing of thought is that. But yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter.
So to claim that this is the only type of content that I make is just one of the many lies that have been levied against me. Lewis and Katiclyzm have also said on a live stream that I have talked openly about being taught by Alex.
Then you have to understand
Hey, it's a fat guy.
that abusive people are not those to coddle. They're not those to, hold dear. They're people to, sure, talk with and understand, but not to
My tastes look terrible here.
forgive, not to work with and take advice from. Because according to him, and in certain situations, he might still be taking tutelage from I'm Alex, which is a big issue.
What do you mean, according to me? When have I ever said anything that might even slightly suggest that I've been receiving tutelage from him?
Yeah, I didn't even think they asked that question. That's a good point.
The answer is never, which is why neither Lewis nor Katiclyzm ever give any examples, because it's not true. I need to make it so incredibly clear. I have not spoken to this man since my last payment from him, which in and of itself was a completely standard business conversation, as he owed me money for the work that I had done on his channel. I genuinely have no idea what the two of them could be referring to here. He even says that me and Alex must be in contact because we have the same editing style.
Right?
Sure, that's probably
thumbnail design.
if
They have the same content design. They do the same editing technique.
that
It's
would
a
be
big
well
problem.
well the whole similar content style, that I mean that's how all these types of communities work in general. Like there's usually a community and then everybody
It's not even
copies the same
vaguely
style.
similar. It's almost the same.
Maybe it's
Yeah, that was the point that I was making. It's so funny because one of the points that I made in the video, and I was like, listen, to the two of those youngsters, I literally said all this guy has to do is watch you guys talking about this, and he could literally just eat up all these, and boom, he could make a perfect response. Like, you guys are not going to win this. Whatever potential evidence that they had that this guy was a horrible guy was not enough to extrapolate on unless you did a lot of deep digging. It was absolutely nothing there. And so, like, them even confronting me was not a good idea. Not even confronting, but yeah, then confronting me was not even a good idea because, like, this guy, and I think he's innocent regardless, but this guy, all he had to do is watch my conversation with them, and then he's like, oh, boom, 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 boom. I can write a video. It'll be so easy. Because, like, it was pretty much free for him at that point.
because I was his fucking editor. Obviously, the edits are gonna be the same. I was the one doing both of them. We make commentary videos. None of us are exactly reinventing the wheel here.
The problem is he's making this content, and then this is how he actually treats a case that he is involved with, involving the abuse of a woman. Do you not see the problem there?
Not really.
The only reason I am now involved
I abuse women all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
in this is because you-
I made my wife cry earlier. I felt so bad. We were in the car. My wife is a grumpy fuck today. You know, she was just grumpy, which I get it. I get it. So this morning she's grumpy, wakes up, whatever. We go out to eat. She's grumpy. She's complaining about everything. I'm like, all right, baby, I love you, blah, 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 blah. We get in the car. We're on the way home, and like her energy, we get home, and her energy shifts instantaneously from grumpy to like very affectionate. So she starts kissing me, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm like, all right, baby, like I want to get out of the car and start getting stuff done. When I have like an idea of what I want to do in my head, I'm like ready to do it, right? Because I wanted to get out. I wanted to clean up the lawn. There's some stuff out there, blah, 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 whatever. So there's one more kiss, and she goes to kiss me, and she sticks her tongue in my mouth. Not like a sexy way, like just to fuck with me. And I was just like, baby, you're fucking with me too much right now. And then she got upset, and she started crying. I'm so sorry. I was like, baby, I'm really sorry. It's just I'm overstimulated right now because you just shifted on a dime, and I'm not adjusted to the new energy. So I made her cry. I felt so bad. But, you know, it was just so quickly. Such a change so quickly, man. It's just too quick for me.
You are insisting that I know these people when I worked for Alex briefly and I didn't know Alice at all. If it wasn't for your input, then I still would have nothing to do with any of this. You've made this a problem by making things up to get mad at, and you've been doing that the whole time.
Yeah, it's kind of true.
Katie even says this on her stream as justification for why she had to confront me.
But there are still speculation that he and Alex may be working together behind the scenes.
I don't know, man. I try not to base all my shit off of speculation. It's a little tough. It's just a tough sell, girl.
The only reason this speculation exists now
Just a tough sell.
is because of you. There were no rumors about any of this before you started harassing me publicly.
But Katiclyzm was approached by Jesse not too long ago. I think it was also about 5 to 6 months ago when she was approached by Jesse. And Jesse wanted to talk with her, okay? They made similar content. They had similar subcounts. This is her words. And so he asked to call her, which, if you ask me, calling people has a stigma around it for a reason. You can just text people, man. If there's no reason to call, like if it's not urgent or anything, there shouldn't be any reason.
If there's something
So stupid point. I'm sorry. Calling is so much easier, and I will live and die on this. I'm fucking 34. I like to call people sometimes. It's just easier to talk to them than messaging people in a fucking text message. It's so stupid.
inherently wrong with calls, then why do you want to do an interview with me like you state later on in your video?
Come on my show. Come on here. I will interview you unbiasedly. I will ask you questions. That is what I will do, okay? I'm offering you this proposition.
This is just such a reach. I messaged her because she...
I don't think that... I think at this point what do the debate nerds say? The well has been poisoned, so I wouldn't go on there if I was him, to be honest with you.
followed me and we were at similar sizes. All I did was go, hey man...
Bro, it's crazy. If this was 2021, all this guy would have to say is that they're being racist and targeting him for no reason, and he would have totally fucking absolutely dunked on him. He would have owned him. And when I say dunked, I mean because he's black.
We should hop on a call sometime.
Sorry, that was a little inappropriate.
For you to try and paint this out as something nefarious is incredibly disingenuous and manipulative.
He mansplained how to be a better YouTuber to Katiclyzm for like 2.5 hours. And then, at the end of
maybe it was just some advice. I don't really know what that means.
those 2 hours, apparently Katiclyzm jumped on the opportunity to ask him why he said the annoying orange bullshit, into which he hung up, ran away, and unfollowed her.
I think it's a tough sell here. For this narrative is a tough sell, because in my conversation with Lewis and Katiclyzm, she said that she had recorded the conversation, but she didn't feel like she could release it. And it's like, why don't you feel that way? Is the question that I would have.
I don't know what Katiclyzm told you, but this is not what happened at all. The call was not 2.5 hours long. I have it right here. It was 40 minutes.
Oh. Yeah, that's a little strange. It's a little strange that they'd lie about that.
And you claim that at the end of the call I ran away when the screenshot was brought up. No, I explained exactly to Katiclyzm what I've been explaining to you this video. That I edited for Alex, that I was grateful for the opportunity that he gave me, that we were never friends, and I haven't spoken to him in months. This part of the call was conveniently left out of her retelling of events, however. Now this would be a my word against your scenario, but there's actual evidence for this. When the call ended, Katiclyzm messaged me saying this. Yo, thanks for calling, man, appreciate it. If you ever want to join call with us, feel free. Gives you a chance to talk to more people. Kiss.
Whoa! Did she just sexually harass him? I'm just being stupid, but Jesus.
Those sound like the words of somebody who just got abruptly hung up on.
I will say, it would have been nice to show us more context to like what came first, second, and third. You just kind of placed it in the middle. I don't know if that was just for like an artistic thing of like, oh, it looks better for the video, or if it's because there was more context there that would have been nice. But I would have liked to have seen the full DMs, you know?
I personally don't think so. I'm very concerned that these YouTubers have made videos on me based purely on gossip and baseless accusations, with
gossip that they started.
No evidence of how the conversations they say went down actually went down. I didn't join Katie's call with her friends, and now they've all gone and made negative videos on me, which were not reflected by the messages that I was receiving at the time. At this point, she had unfollowed me on Instagram, and I just really did not think that it was a big deal at all. In my mind, if she had unfollowed me, it'd probably just be best if I had unfollowed her, just as I told her in the DMs that she ended up leaking.
Can we call real quick? I know why you want to call. You don't want it to be in text message so that she can't screenshot it, so that she can't prove to the world that you might not do as you preach.
Yeah, again, it's a tough sell because in our conversation, she admitted that she recorded it, but she didn't feel comfortable releasing it, which kind of does make us feel like there was malicious intent. That's the only interpretation that one could get out of that. So not only is his point wrong, You know, she looks a little silly there.
You sly bastard. You thought you could just hide around being kind of a quirky, weird dude. You know, somebody you might just call because they don't like to text. No, 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 no. You don't want the chance of there being receipts out there. That's even more weird. That's even...
Me when I don't want to talk to my mom on the telephone. This is what I tell her. Let's just text, Ma. Are you fucking kidding me? Only reason you would want to call is so that I can't screenshot it when you're being weird.
Even worse. Oh my God. That's even worse, dude. You can't just... I'm glad I pieced that together because I don't think anybody's made that point yet. Yeah, Detective Louis McClung.
You're right. Nobody has made this point before. Maybe because it's dog shit. It's very obvious that some people prefer calls because they're just quicker and more convenient. It's perfectly fine to ask...
No, they're not. They're literally not. I know what he means. They're not quicker or more convenient. They're just easier. Well, actually, they are more convenient to fully explain yourself. They're not quicker, but they are more convenient in the sense that you can explain yourself. So like a 40-minute call, you can more easily get out your thoughts, feelings, and perspectives. You can get out the tone of your voice so that, because it's more than just what you're saying, it's how you're saying it. All that other stuff, it's easier to communicate that way. So he didn't really want the quick, convenient route. He wanted like the efficient route that would exactly communicate his feelings and perspectives on this.
For a call, as you have literally done in...
But he's not like wrong. I'm just... semantics.
This video, you're using the fact that I tried to call someone as some sort of weird manipulation tactic, despite the fact that I later immediately agreed to text instead. It's just another one of your many baseless accusations.
Bro, I was trying to tell you that the screenshot of the annoying orange stuff, is you blatantly mocking abuse. And you came to me, out of all people who have you, which you clearly had, been on my channel, you'd realize I've been abused too.
I spoke to Katie because she followed me and we were at similar sizes, like I said. The fact that anyone may have been abused was not on my mind at all, because why would it be? It was just one YouTuber.
Yeah, I mean, if he didn't have that thing happen to him, he wouldn't really have the emotional, you know, anchor point for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's probably not something in his head.
Talking to...
He's just making fun of I'm Alex.
Another. I don't know why people think I'm involved in anything else. One joke about the annoying orange because I didn't want people bothering me has somehow turned into me defending an abuser and being I'm Alex's best friend.
Is that, yeah, that's a little stupid of you. You know, to come to somebody and be like, I know how to YouTube better than you. You should ask me questions and we should like call and stuff.
Well, I mean, if the conversation if they had like a casual, nice conversation, which seems to have been the case, it would make sense that part of it would just turn into like, hey, I want to ask you about this thing. Like, what's going on with you following I'm Alex? You get a satisfactory answer to some extent. Oh, okay. And then you guys just start shooting the shit and giving each other advice or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Like, okay, like, whatever. And even if he was being cringed by telling her the advice with what she didn't want it, like, okay, some people are just annoying sometimes. Who cares? Not a big deal.
Honestly, it sounds like he was trying to, like, flirt. I don't know. I don't want to...
I'm so sorry, but, like, this is what this whole video feels like. You guys going to bat so hard for her feels like that to me. So it's like, I don't know, man. Are you just trying to get rid of the competition out of the pool? I don't know, dude. I don't know. That sounded like a weird Cookie Monster. I didn't like it. Kind of true. Also, I'm always right.
Or presume, or assume, or presume. He might have been
I've been in a relationship now for 2 years. My girlfriend was literally in the room with me as I was on call with Katie.
Damn you, dog. He's dogging around.
Who is also in a relationship.
Maybe he's projecting. Maybe he's just projecting.
Tell your audience that I might have been trying to flirt with Katiclyzm based on absolutely fucking nothing is so deeply inappropriate that I can barely believe you thought this would be a good idea to put in your video.
It's not really inappropriate, but the energy's fine considering they came at him with more than that. Dude, this is literally, I'm not even kidding. This literally this is like high school cafeteria shit. This is all it is. It's just like, fucking so dumb.
Not only is it obviously completely false, but much like everything else in this video, it's based on nothing but your own ignorant and uneducated assumptions.
Damn.
I'm very confused as to why the two of you are acting as though you know me personally. We were never friends, I don't know you, and you definitely don't know me. I keep my relationships and my private life as private as I possibly can, and I'm now—
That's a smart idea to do as a content creator. You don't want to put everything online.
Having to divulge information because of stupid assertions like how I was trying to flirt with Katiclyzm. Does Louis not understand that it is possible for a man and a woman to interact with each other with no flirting being involved at all?
Damn, he might not. That might be the whole crux of the fucking problem, brother.
But if you can't handle the conversation of abuse with some class and decency and some kind of nuance, then you shouldn't be allowed to do it.
It's tough, man. It's tough, you know, because you guys, I think that in general, you guys are struggling with nuance yourselves. I feel like there's a lot of people on the internet who use the word nuance and they don't really understand what it means. Nuance doesn't just mean that you're right. Nuance is looking at a situation, really. And having an uncomfortable perspective on it that most people would not like because it is uncomfortable, because you're usually taking into account, you know, more than just the good guy side of a scenario. That's what like a nuance is going to break down to fundamentally. That's how these things work, you know. like nuance is looking at somebody who commits like a bad crime and then going, okay, but like what were the conditions like that they grew up under, and like how could that have impacted it, and then to what degree do we give them charity and potentially even let them off the hook because of that past that was uncontrollable to them. That's what nuance is. That's how nuance manifests, right? Like nuance would be saying like, oh, maybe he was friends with Alex, but like given the situations that they told me he was like fucking poor and that's how he got to start. You would understand why he might be too charitable to Alex, if that's even true. That's where the nuance is, but you guys don't have that. You guys were kind of just going off and you were making a bunch of like, oh, well, it doesn't matter if by your logic, it doesn't matter if he gave money and it was his start and it was the only reason that he's a content creator and he feels like he owes him a bunch of things. It doesn't matter. It would matter. It would make sense from a human perspective for people to have, you know, certain leanings based on their life experience. Like that would be the nuance if we had any there.
Reason that these topics do well is because they are interesting and intricate and require nuance. They require an ability to
New Balance, the kind of shoes I wear.
Understand it and put yourself in the shoes of the people who suffer and the people who do it. And
yeah, so you know, this is the thing. We just said the same thing. But I think the difference between myself and Lewis is that like he's reading from a book. He went to a college class and he took the class and he read what nuance meant and he read what these things mean and he was told how to feel about something. But it's not something that's core to his actual perspective because he can't apply it everywhere, right? And that's the problem. So he can read it in a textbook and he can read about like systemic oppression of different types of people. And he's like, yeah, see, that exists when it comes to these people. But he can't look at it in other facets of the world because he didn't learn that in the textbook yet. And he hasn't actually registered it as a core part of his morality yet. That's one of the problems that he has here.
If you can't do that, you know, when somebody approaches you, you can't even just ignore them. You just make stupid jokes mocking the gaslighting and abuse of a random woman who you might have known or might have not known. Either way, it's fucking weird. I think he did know her.
It's a weird consideration. He might have known him, might have not have known him. I think he knew him. What's your evidence? We're getting to eating dogs and cats level of evidence here.
That's the worst part, okay? That's the dumbest part.
Again, I don't know what Katie was telling you, but me and Alice have never even exchanged a word with each other. Just like the idea that I'm flirting with Katie, this is yet another baseless and untrue accusation with the sole purpose of painting me out.
Well, I mean, like maybe they were trying to do like maybe the girlfriend was into it. Maybe they were like all ready to hang out. You know, these young kids with their curly hair and wind blowing in their face and tattoos. Maybe they want to kiss each other. I don't fucking know. They're a little young, a different time. Maybe they're all trying to smush parts. I don't know. Not a good pause frame though. Sorry.
Out to look as bad as possible. Very ironic when you just made the claim that I am unable to handle topics with class, nuance, and decency.
Kind of true.
Deleting all the messages too. Oh, that.
Yeah, I remember the point that I made here is like maybe he's just deleting the messages because he doesn't want to, like, he just wants to get rid of it. He announced he was deleting the messages. I told him this. I don't know if they took this into consideration. He was like, I'm going to delete messages. That's what they said. And then he deleted messages. And they're like, he's trying to hide. It's like, if he's trying to hide, why the fuck did he tell you? Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's more likely to me that he's deleting messages because like it's like out of sight, out of mind. I delete text messages from people that like I want to keep it out of my brain, right? Like exes and stuff. Like delete those messages. You know what I mean? Save the titty pics. Delete the messages, guys. No, don't save that. Don't. That was a joke. I'm sorry. Okay. Don't tell my wife I said that because it was a legitimate joke. Okay. Anyway. Stop. Moving on. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe I'm in trouble now. Maybe I'm gonna get my ass beat later. But we don't know. But if I am abused by my wife, just know I deserved it, brothers.
That's how you. Oh, you fucked up there, buddy. Oh, that was stupid. Saying that and doing that. We have images here of proof that he started deleting messages so that it was harder to read and whatever. Oh, that hurts my head. Okay, I don't understand how you can act this way and then literally type out, yeah, I'm gonna delete this now, mate.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna delete all these now.
I'm gonna stop doing that. I actually didn't want to do it, but now it's growing on me, okay? But you deleting the messages means you understand that people seeing this would ruin your reputation. People seeing this would understand that maybe you don't deserve to be talking about these situations. You have no right, some would say.
I deleted the messages because people seem to leak messages all the time, and I did not want to be involved in any petty drama. It was not a malicious move, else I wouldn't have warned Katiclyzm that I was about to delete them. Obviously, that didn't work.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Because Katie was screenshotting the conversation in real time, because the purpose of this all, from the beginning, was to entrap me. They have run with a bunch of complete fiction to make it seem as though that I am involved in something that I have no part in, to the point where they are fabricating that I was flirting with Katiclyzm and may have known Alice when we never interacted.
But there are a bunch of...
The one thing I will say, to give her a little bit of credit, because we did talk, I know I keep saying it, we all chatted, is that the first thing she did when she joined the stream was she said, I never thought of this, I never thought of it that way. And it seemed like she was on her way to realizing that she was in the wrong very quickly. And so I give her the benefit of the doubt. And to give him the benefit of the doubt, I think he wanted to tap. He wanted to hit that. And so he's simping hard. I think that's it.
From his actual literal videos, past or new, that he says just some fucking weird things in. Like this one from Madagascar 2, I think. Sorry, I never saw that one. I just watched 1 and 3 because those movies are infinitely better.
Speaking of whoring out, Gloria from Madagascar is an annoying whore, whose lines consist only of men and ogling men and having sex with men.
Maybe that's true.
Oh my God, you can't just suppress your hate for women for 1 second? You can't do that. Hold on.
Well, I mean, one can make the argument that if you're assuming that a whore represents all women, maybe you're the one with the sexist thoughts. I don't know.
So let me get this straight. Being a woman.
I didn't know Gloria. I don't know if she was slutting around, but maybe she was.
And then thinking about only men, let's say there is somebody who does that, makes you a whore? Huh?
Yeah. Makes me a dog.
Huh? Who made that decision?
Me.
Hey, who made that rule? Hey, who made that rule? Who made that like a...
Get a little Noah Samson in here.
A normal thing that we all agree with. Oh, that's right, nobody did. That's just a weird fucking thing to say.
Not only did I not say that at all, but to claim that I hate women because of something I said jokingly about a cartoon hippo 3 years ago is ridiculous.
That's also a good possibility.
Or maybe this one about Lola Bunny. Just hold on. Just wait till the end of the clip. Just wait, just give it a second.
Her design is interesting to look at and is animated very impressively in the original Space Jam, especially for the time. And whilst her character at its core is a simple love interest, at least she had a character. In the god-awful sequel, she looks like shit. And I'm not talking about her tits being smaller. I mean her design as a whole is horrendously ugly and boring to look at.
Her what? Ah!
Listen, man, I'm just gonna be real with you. I didn't jerk off to the new Lola Bunny. Nobody jerks off to the new Lola Bunny. I absolutely did jerk off to the old Lola Bunny. Okay? I haven't jerked off to the old Lola Bunny in a long time. Just to be clear. You know, that was something I did around that time. But she was a baddie. And the new one looks like a chipmunk, bro. And I don't know what to tell you. And, you know, I think it's okay to sometimes say, I want to be able to beat it to this. I think that's a real thing. I think it's okay to be like, I want to beat the fuck out of my meat to this. You know, because, you know, you got a cool new character that comes out in a movie, and then you're like, shit, I can't wait for somebody to R34 the fuck out of this. You know what I mean? Right? Like, that's not a hot take. You know what I mean? I remember as a kid, I used to look at Totally Spies. I'm just being real with you, dogs. You know? And I would look, it doesn't even matter how big the boobs are. You know? It doesn't matter. About an overall appeal. I'm a young gooner. I was a young gooner. It's a nuanced take about jerking it to fucking It's true. It's a very lukewarm take. That's true. It's such a normal thing. You know, boy, listen, sometimes the term boys will be boys is okay. When it comes to a guy beating a girl, that's not right. But when it comes to a guy wanting to jork it to sexy cartoon characters, that's boys being boys. Sometimes it truly is just boys being boys. Okay? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, dude? You guys have never beat it to You guys have never beat it to Jinx from League? It's not about the boob size. You know what I'm saying, dude? It's not even about the boob size. It's like, what's the overall appeal? That's a hot take, bro. I'm tired of pretend. Like, I'm tired of pretending. I don't want to fuck old Lola Bunny from the original Space Jam. Okay, I'm tired of it. I'm taking a stand here, and I'm taking a stand now.
Oh, God. Sorry, I had to, get that out. You understand. Why must you feel as though you have to make these remarks?
This comment was made in response to the weird online discourse that they had nerfed Lola Bunny in Space Jam 2.
Listen. The one on the left. The one on the left. The one on the left. Come on. You know what I mean? I'm not even worried about protection. The one on the right, it's like I've seen like those videos of those lesbians doing dudes. But this is just not the right kind of lesbian, you know? Maybe she's got a sleeper build under there. But there's obviously which one am I trying to give myself frictional dermatitis to in a 4-hour goon session? You know what I mean? Which one are you choosing? Which one are you gonna choose, man? Come on. It's not a hot take, you know what I mean? And you know what? It doesn't mean that this design is bad. You know, maybe this was more in line with what they wanted to show. I don't know. All I'm saying is that, I got two brains, and one of them likes this one better. That's all I'm saying, dog.
I was talking about how my criticism for the character went beyond stupid shit like her just being nerfed. Once again, though, for somebody who talks about nuance, it's incredibly ironic that your evidence for me being a virtue signaler who hates women is something I said about a cartoon rabbit 3 years ago.
And I'm not talking about her tits being smaller.
Her what?
I said the word tits in an old video. Can we be fucking adults here? Like, what are we actually doing? Why is this in
let's not be adults. Let's just be dogs right now.
your video?
Okay, and these are all, I think, pre him becoming a drama commentary YouTuber. And I think these videos...
Yeah, it's also when he was like 18, so who really gives a fuck, okay? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit on my balls.
I'm really sorry.
Okay, listen, I'm gonna be a little bit of a gooner. And we're gonna take it, and I'm gonna download it right now. I'm instantaneously downloading this video. All right. Oop. Got it. We're good.
Those events been deleted because, now 100,000 plus people are going to see you say this stuff?
He then goes on to say that I deleted those videos, which is once again another lie that can easily be checked just by looking at my channel. The videos are still up because there's nothing wrong with them. Other than just by looking at my channel. The videos
Female character is interesting.
are still up because there's nothing wrong with them.
That's funny.
Other than the fact that they're old and badly made, I guess.
Can't have that. That's not good. But more recently, do you know what he said?
Damn, they're getting blasted. They lied a lot more than I thought they did, to be honest with you. This is fucking crazy.
Mannerisms, he's so sassy. To all the girls watching this who like sassy men, if this doesn't get your beef curtains in a twist, then I don't know what will.
So I've been informed that phrase is a derogatory one rooted in racism and misogyny.
It's just not, man. I don't know what to tell you. I feel like this is one of those moments where I hate to be rude, but I feel like just shut the fuck up. Just enough is enough. We have to stop. Listen, a lot of words have meany parts attached to them. There are some that are more meany than others. Literal slurs. Not only is there a historical context to pretty much every slur, but there's also still an energy being carried today and an intention behind it in a way where it's used to disparage people. But that's not how it is for everything. If I told somebody dumb, like, you could say that that's historically disparaging to, like, deaf and blind people, I think. Or it might just be deaf people. I don't know. They can't hear me anyway. But nobody uses it like that. So you can make the argument that the word has changed and the language has evolved. When it comes to meat curtains, maybe there is a level of truth to it. Using being racist back in the day, I don't really know. It doesn't matter because nobody thinks that. You know, maybe it's an insulting thing to say to a woman about a woman's vagina, but also I feel like he was just saying, you know, like, don't get your panties in a twist, don't get your flaps in a twist, don't get your balls in a twist. It's just about sagging parts. I'm sagging. I'm old, bro. I'm sagging. We're all sagging, dude. Okay? And this guy, I guarantee you, says sagging backwards to his friends. He's allowed to. That's a fact. Okay? Me? I'm not. So I just think it. No. I'm just kidding. No, I'm being silly. We're gooning too hard.
This was a point that was also made by Katiclyzm in her stream about me.
When people insult women by saying their genitals look like roast beef, you're basically saying that the colour of their genitals isn't the colour that it is in porn. It hasn't been bleached.
Listen, man. I think we got to... I think that the way to advocate forward is we have to... I don't mind... I don't mind Arby's. I don't mind darkness. I like dark brown nipples. I like dark. I mean, like, let's just start normalizing. It's not gross, dude. It's perfect. You know what I mean? It's perfect. I like that shit. You know, when you get older, things start to change. Your perspective changes. You know, I feel like maybe young men look at it. It's like, oh, it's not a perfect vagina. And when you get older, it becomes the perfect one. You realize that they're all perfect as long as they don't have STDs. You know, so.
Which is insulting to so many women because the only women that are likely to have that color vagina are most likely going to be women of color.
Listen, I'm going to be real with you. My wife is coming downstairs. I want a real man moment here. Listen, I've gone to town on some dark shit before. Not even like black women. I would, but I've never gotten the opportunity to. I met the love of my life at the perfect time. But I mean... I would have liked it. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I've fucking eaten white girls out with, you know, we're getting a little too explicit here. But the point is, I'm just saying, dude, there's darker, you know, white girls have it too. All right. Also, like my uncle once told me, my great uncle, we're all pink on the inside. Beautiful stuff. Incredible. Racism is dead.
It just doesn't really make any sense. The only women that aren't going to have...
Well, didn't he say meat flaps? We're not talking about roast beef, right? He said like meat curtains. Meat curtains have nothing to do with the color of your skin. What the hell are you even talking about? Doesn't even make sense. Meat curtains are just like they sag down. You could have pink beef curtains or whatever. What?
Pigment on their white women.
With all due respect, I was raised in Egypt and now live in Scotland. Having spent
what the fuck?
My whole life as a man of colour, I do not need Lewis McClung and Katiclyzm to explain what racism is to me.
That's actually very funny. Jesus. He just owned you. He just 2020 fucking BLM COVID riot owned you on that one, dude. He just owned you guys.
What you've both done here is take very obvious jokes out of context and you're deliberately spinning them in bad faith, even going so far as to allege that I'm a racist and that I hate women. Once again, none of you know anything about me and I have no idea why you thought this would be remotely appropriate.
But it is just...
He's kind of right here.
It's just giving misogyny. Women already have so much pressure on them to have their bodies, you know...
Guys, I mean...
live up to the societies of... corn, and the beauty standard is insane.
You know, also, can we just keep in mind, though, because it's so true, Queen, but also, we have the same problem, okay? Have you seen the size of those pythons in those videos? Those things are massive. That's what we think we're supposed to all be like, okay? It's not true. Not only that, but we're expected to be fluffed up 24/7 just in case our pants fall. You know what I mean? Like, If somebody pants me at any given time of the day, random time of the day, most likely I'm not going to be chubbed up. And like, it's like a turtle, you know, which most guys are not showers. They're growers. And so like, we have to stop pretending that material doesn't wreak havoc on young men's psyche as well. Okay. I don't have my arm down there. That's all I'm saying. So, it's not just women, bro, dude. Just saying.
When people insult women by saying their genitals look like roast beef.
Was I insulting women by saying that their genitals look like roast beef?
I don't think so.
Or was I ultimately just making a quip that meant nothing?
True!
Two even go as far as to assert that I have a pornography addiction.
It's...
Same.
it's giving porn addict. Because a lot of, society... expectations are
but if you were nuanced here, wouldn't you talk about how that's almost like blasted into young men's psyche, you know? Come on, what?
Women now is insane. Like the way you're like meant to look is really based off of pornography, and when you refer to women's genitals like that, it's usually an attempt to insult women.
But the only
when I refer to women's genitals like that, it's because I'm looking to slurp up some soup, if you know what I'm saying.
way you would hear
Dude, don't report me, dude. What are you talking about? What are you even saying?
this phrase is apparently through pornography or adult media or anything sexualizing women.
I don't think I heard meat curtains through that. Probably like The Sopranos or something like.
Because I, personally, haven't actually heard that terminology ever, okay? I have never heard those words used.
I mean, you're like 19, bro, 20. I remember one time in the conversation, I was like, yeah, he's young, referring to the Danky guy. And Lewis is like, oh, he's a lot older than me. And I was like, well, how old are you? He's like, I'm 20. I was like, how old is he? He's like, he's 21. It's like, oh, okay. Great.
To describe female genitalia, and apparently that was the point.
I call it a cooter snooch. Not bad.
What? Dude, you can't... You are indirectly and directly showing us the kind of person you are.
Again, like I said, it's used to insult women and insult the appearance of women's genitals in comparison to corn. Like, tell me you've got a problem without telling me.
How?
It's so tough because there are so many scenarios in our life where we have the opportunity to be offended, and I would say that most of them are like you wanting to be offended. You know, there's moments where people are intentionally trying to offend you and they're saying something in an insensitive way to intentionally upset you. He's obviously not. And when you look at benign situations where somebody says something that can be interpreted as offensive, but wasn't meant to be, and you decide to mentally interpret it as offensive, you're looking to be a victim. And that's a problem, right? I mean, I just don't know what else to tell you. So it's like if somebody was like, oh yeah, that person gained weight, and then I got offended, like, oh, so it's bad to be fat. It's like, yeah, no. It's just like, you really, that kind of mental perspective is so toxic to you.
How on earth could you possibly know this? All I did was use the term beef curtains. I don't understand how it's been spun to this level. To be completely honest with you all, this is not...
Oh, I guess beef is brown. I guess that's why they said beef for whatever. I don't cares, dude.
Not something I've ever wanted to talk
Isn't it fucking pink when it's raw? Who gives a fuck?
About on my channel, as I've already mentioned that I like to keep my private life private, but I am literally asexual. So the claim...
Oh, bridge.
that I'm flirting with Katiclyzm, that I have a...
Well, you don't have to flirt with somebody just because you're asexual. Like, you don't necessarily flirt with people just to have sex. I do. Well, not really. I flirt with people in general. I'm a little bit of a flirtatious guy, you know? But like, you could just be, you know, you could be asexual and still flirt.
Pornography addiction that I must engage in incel groups or whatever Lewis meant by this comment.
Or a mindset, or being in these spheres online, or having possibly in the past been in these spheres. It adds to this idea that he might have or still be in the mindset of somebody who is misogynistic, whether it's on purpose or not.
Is all so insulting.
I think that's the moment where I said, do you think you actually did a good job of portraying that?
And untrue. All of these videos are based on tearing me down, based on nothing but pure assumptions.
And is it pink reference while talking about Smart Schoolboy 9 is a choice when for most women it's only pink pre-puberty, most certainly a choice? Exactly.
Exactly what? What?
Not only did I never even say anything about anything being pink, but Katie is now just insinuating that I was somehow referencing anything to do with pedophilia or underage girls, which is incredibly insulting, obviously incorrect, and seriously damaging.
Yeah, it sounds like she was reading a live stream video of some terminally online fucking moron going like, oh yeah, most little girls' vaginas are pink, so that if he's being disparaging to non-pink vaginas, that means that he wants to fuck kids. What the fuck? I don't know. First of all, I don't even know because I've never seen a child's vagina. I don't even know. Fuck would I know? Second of all, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? doing with yourself? It's just crazy. Why are you doing this to yourself? Why? You're going, and in her slight defense, maybe she just started reading that. She's like, oh yeah, I'm going to agree with it because somebody would agree with her. But that is, that's called me Carson levels of reaching. Let's be real here.
What's worse is that in Lewis's video where I'm criticized for being a misogynist who hates women for 3 meaningless jokes, 2 of which were 3 years ago, Lewis makes this joke.
Isn't it crazy? Because if you just watch one Papa Gut stream, you would see more disparaging remarks than that. I'm obviously joking. I love women. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, I don't do it's a dog whistle hatred of women. You guys know that. I love my wife a lot. I respect my wife and my mother, right? And if you don't respect your wife and your mother, you obviously hate women. That's the fact. Unless your mom's a bitch, you know what I mean? Then maybe you probably don't like women because your mom was a bitch. So yeah, but I'm kidding, obviously. Which the intentionality is. It matters.
That sounds like you're willingly let somebody manipulate you, but that might just be me. Oh, you gave
me when I was groomed? I wasn't, but
me my career, but you're going to exploit me for something because of it?
The me when I'm nuanced?
Yes, because you owe me. Everyone.
Me when I'm being nuanced right now? Me when I'm being nuanced? Me when I don't understand manipulation? Hey guys, what if I wanted to be? What if I wanted to be groomed? What if it's my fault for? What if it's my fault for that? I've never heard anybody say that all the time 10 years ago about every time someone was manipulated as a way to dismiss that person's manipulation. Me when I was groomed? Seems like the nuance isn't here, bud.
Woman in Hollywood ever.
So me saying the word tits 3 years ago means that I hate women, but you're allowed to make a joke about
No. Rabbit tits. And I'm rabid for Lola Bunny's rabbit tits, if you know what I'm saying. I'm a grown man. I'm a grown man saying this kind of stuff. Isn't that crazy?
Women in Hollywood allowing themselves to be willfully manipulated. This is an infinitely more misogynistic and offensive thing to say than anything that the two of you ever accused me of.
Yes, King!
But I'm not going to do what you did and call you a misogynist, because it was clearly a joke. Here is another bit of apparent evidence for my hatred of women from the Papa Gut stream.
A lack of nuance.
I'm the Papa Gut stream! Isn't that fucking crazy?
Apparently in one of his videos, he said that...
Sorry, I was yelling. I gotta start it over.
Evidence for my hatred of women from the Papa Gut stream.
A lack of nuance. Apparently in one of his videos, he said that a woman cannot be beautiful if she is a mother. Apparently that's what he said.
Here's the clip of this joke that they're talking about for everyone wondering.
I even asked Lewis if he saw it, and he's like, no. She said she did, but I want to see it.
Hey, says Santos. What's good, says Brianna Olsen. I'm sure this is some...
Or either what's good or Warsong Gulch, just to be clear.
Riveting conversation here. For everyone still in school who thinks that adults just grow this magical power to be more social or more extroverted, I don't know, maybe I've just not had that patch delivered to me yet, but I mean, it seems as though it's wrong based on this alone. To be fair, one of them is an actual child, and this is how year 8s flirt. This is like their sexy talk, I guess. Except Brianna Olsen is a mother, so there's nothing sexy about it. It's very obvious to everybody.
I don't understand that. I don't know what's happening.
Watching the video that I was not saying mothers could not be attractive, but was in fact making fun of this one in particular for bragging about flirting with a 19-year-old boy.
Oh, okay. I have no idea what's going on. I'll take your word for it because I just don't care what the fuck is even happening there. So I was thrown into the middle of something, and I was like, I'll take your word for it. You seem reputable. So.
What's worse is that Lewis goes on to admit that he's never even seen the clip.
I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what he said.
Did you see him say it?
Yeah, I saw that.
I have not watched the video yet.
So I guess this explains why he's so uneducated about everything he talks about. Because he doesn't bother educating himself. The guy's research for when he decides to call someone out publicly is fucking YouTube comments that he's pinned. Yeah, man, you definitely have all the nuance needed to talk about these topics.
And again, it's such a minor thing from him. Do I think that makes him...
This is me writing notes on the side, because I let them talk a lot. So I was just kind of interrupting every once in a while to just... I was trying to ask a meaningful question here. So, like, when I do that, I'm trying to ask meaningful questions as they're talking to try to change their mind, you know?
A terrible person. Again, no. But it's comments like that come from him, as well as, like, a plethora of other comments that he's made that just come across that he is very... I want to say slightly misogynistic, and I'm not throwing that term around loosely. I do think a lot of the things he says... he may not hate women, per se, but when he makes comments like that, and again, the mother comment about how mothers can't be sexy. Again, I don't know if the context is fully there for that, so I won't.
Oh, I didn't even catch that. She doesn't even know the fucking context of it. Oh my god. Shit.
Don't go too much.
It's so funny that you were both so
Why'd you gotta leave me fucking breathing in there, bro? Let me talk. Let me speak!
confident in calling me a misogynist in your videos, but when somebody simply asks you to explain why I'm a misogynist, you can't do it. The reason that these two are struggling so much to answer a question that should be easy considering how confident they were, is because there's no evidence for it.
It's just so funny because obviously he's referring to my stream, and I was this most softball conversation I've ever had, because I was really trying to get them to see why they were wrong. I was trying like almost, you know, like a different strategy. I wasn't trying to like barrage them with like facts. I was just trying to be like, hey, like, does this make sense to you? And like, oh, you know, that was the whole point. And so for them to get tripped up is just fucking crazy.
Apart from 3 jokes, I guess, that you've taken out of context. This is why neither of you bring up the Gloria or Lola Bunny bullshit in this Papa Gut stream, because you know how silly you'd look if you did.
And that's the thing. He may not intend. But I would disagree. I think it was previously a more...
Guys, I know my tits look bigger there, but look at this. We're redeeming ourselves right now. We're redeeming ourselves. I'm not that fat, dude. I was just laying down.
Accept the term. Now it's more derogatory because of things like porn, because of the standards to women's genitalia. So I do think, especially, maybe it's just not a
I don't know if you guys know this. Porn's like always existed.
part of the internet that you're on, but there is already
Used to be a lot of hairy bush too.
So much discourse about the appearance of women's parts. And always in a negative way as well.
Oh,
so
are you trying to say that like the whole beef curtain thing is him saying that that's like an ugly vagina? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, well, that's if you ever see people online, and again, it's because of the side of the internet I'm on, because I talk about porn a lot.
I've researched it a lot, so I feel like maybe who do you think's more educated?
But if you ever see that term, it is always used as a way to insult the way a woman's vagina looks.
All I did was say the word beef curtains. I seriously don't understand how it's come to this
Your dog whistling hatred of women
level. Just using the term means nothing, or else all 3 of you would be raging misogynists. The context is so clearly jokey and not
he's just being a silly guy. Like.
Derogatory. The 2 of you are only latching onto it this much because there's no actual evidence of me being a misogynist, but for some reason, you would really want me to be.
Obviously, they use it in other terms.
Kind of true. I was saying that earlier. Yeah, they want him to be like misogynistic. They want him to be like you know, we'll say parallel to abuse or abuse adjacent, so that they can make this, so they can sensationalize this. They want him to be that so they can make content out of it. That's what it feels like.
Usually in kind of joking ways. So maybe that was a joke.
What do you mean, maybe it was a joke? Do you think that I randomly paused my video on Smart Schoolboy 9 to criticize women for not having porn star vaginas? You know that it was a joke. It's so obvious.
It's not...
I would, though, personally. That sounds like a typical Papa Gut rant.
Necessarily that standing alone is the biggest issue, right? If that is the only thing he had done, we would not be here. It's the fact that it is on top of everything else, and in a vacuum it wouldn't do anything, but in this room with all of these different things that point towards him having a misogynistic tone, or a mindset, or being in these spheres online, or having possibly in the past been in these spheres, it adds to this idea that he might have or still be in the mindset of somebody who is misogynistic, whether it's on purpose or not. And it's seeping into his content.
This is when you usually snap. We're at the Poetry Slam right now. Yeah, it's so true, dude. Fuck, it's so cool.
That is what this kind of points towards. And it is still an issue if he doesn't, you know, like, acknowledge that that is a derogatory term, and using it to refer to people is not necessarily a good thing.
You can't just say shit like that.
I think that's when I asked the question, do you feel like you portrayed that?
And provide no other evidence or examples. If there's other clips that prove that I'm a misogynist, then talk about them. You can't just levy these accusations against me and genuinely provide nothing, but here's another clip of them doing just that.
People like Katiclyzm talked about it in their videos, specifically because she was somebody who was censored by him. But if you want to hear about that, definitely go watch the live stream that she still has posted to this day.
I think she just deleted it, right?
Because, you know, she still very much stands by this information, as do I. But it's
what the fuck is happening? Was he a VTuber before?
Important to know that he also censors in different ways. Like, for instance, apparently at the start of one of his videos, he said to his audience to comment down below as if he had done something terrible, because Katiclyzm had just released in stories on her Instagram about what he was saying and what he was doing. So
Well, who cares? He was in the right, so it doesn't matter.
To cover it up, he would censor those like Katiclyzm who were actually talking about what he was actually doing, and then he would just ignore anything else that seemed like it would actually call him out because everybody else was just following what he asked them to do.
Hey, Lewis, put a girl on.
Which is borderline manipulative and honestly insane.
Again, another baseless accusation. I just thought it would be a funny joke. That's it.
If you
Yeah, I don't care the context because it doesn't matter. He's not wrong. He's not in the wrong, so it doesn't mean anything.
proudly wore this on your chest, okay? If you
Oh, that's a JoJo character who's known for being stupid. So you're saying that Danky put that in there to call him stupid? Okay, that's kind of fun.
were like, yeah, I'm still friends with Alex. Yeah, you know what? And that's my choice. You guys can hate me for that. If you did that, I would actually still have a little bit of respect for you.
Why?
But the fact that you're running away from all of it, acting like you get to do this stuff and hide from it, even though you did it. You made all these decisions. You don't have to be friends with an abuser, but you chose to do so, and you want to hide it from your fans so that they don't know the kind of person you are. Dude,
I didn't do anything or make all of these decisions. You've completely made up the idea that I'm friends with an abuser. Why would I need to answer for that? There's no lying by omission, as you
That is true.
state in this video.
and to lie to them,
The hell are you doing, man? Why are you standing like that? What are you doing?
to manipulate them, to avoid the truth. Maybe not so much lie, but to silence the truth. It might as well be lying.
I'm being truthful by not talking about it because there is nothing to talk about. I had already told Katiclyzm in our call that I wasn't friends with him. I don't understand what else you want from me here.
Dude, just be true.
Again, it's so funny. If they just didn't talk to me, there's a lot of the context in this video wouldn't have been able to be made, but they ended up fumbling a lot of that conversation.
Truthful. Like, for instance, he made an Onision video.
It was good for me.
Okay, that got taken down, flagged, or whatever, and it basically almost took down his channel in his own words. Not to flex, but could never be me. Mine's still up. It's one of my biggest videos ever, you know? I don't mean to flex too hard, man. But
And I think there it is. I think he was looking. When I said, I think that this is it. He's looking for another Onision. And, let's sensationalize Dankyjabo to be like I'm Alex, who... I don't think that's an unrealistic interpretation.
But in the wake of this, he, one, reposted the video, and two, to support him for working on reposting this video and whatnot, he made a Patreon. Okay, so that people who wanted to support him in the wake of this minor devastation could. And this would also grant you access to a members-only Discord channel where you could talk with him and all of his other fans and whatnot about him and nothing but him. Whatever, right? But then...
That's a little weird. I have a fucking Discord that's members only too. You're trying to say something. It's fucking weird. What? That's normal. I do it because I don't want a flood of annoying fucking people in there. Like, if you like me, you'll pay the $2 a month and you'll link your Discord to your YouTube and you can come in and you can have a chat in the general chat. It's not that bad. I've had like when I used to have it open to everybody, like there's tens of thousands of people. It's like impossible to monitor those people, and a lot of them don't even know who you are. They don't really care. They come in and they just use it as a fucking ground to be obnoxious. So who gives a fuck?
And Katiclyzm released her video, and people started talking, and a lot of them started asking him questions about the situation. And you know what he did? He fucking deleted it all. Oh, dude, I gotta get out of I gotta get the fuck out of here. Honestly, if I made a Patreon, I'd probably be like, what's the minimum you can do? Like a cent? Is that something you can do?
What a good guy.
When people start asking you questions in your first
he was trying to tease that he wants to make a Patreon, but he feels self-conscious because he criticized them for that for no reason, for whatever. It's stupid.
Response is to be like, get rid of it all. I can't handle this. I can't handle this policing and drama. Dude, if your audience, the only thing that makes you who you are on the internet, says, hey man, I don't mean to be a jackass, but why are you being a jackass? And your first response is, shut up, you can't ask me questions, I'm deleting it all. You're gonna ruin my career. You don't deserve to have that career if you can't handle the stuff you cover in real life.
It's so crazy, dude. It's like, you guys, I hate this. One thing I hate so much, because I know it's not a good thing, but I'm getting older and I'm looking at this and I'm just like, damn, man, like, you guys are so young. Like, saying this sounds ridiculous. It's like, it's lazy to be like, well, you're just young. But like, the fact that you're sitting here trying to police people on who should and should not be a content creator, when you guys came out with this, I mean, it's fucking interesting. I mean, if there was some kind of a bar for a content creator, I don't know if I'd pass it, but you certainly wouldn't. It's like you really should try to stay away from morally policing people with whether they should or shouldn't be content creators. just based off of this, because you're still young and you haven't developed full self-awareness, and it takes a long time, and I don't even know if I'm there yet. But this is evidence of that.
With some amount of class.
Once again, more assumptions. Here's the message that I left on my Discord before I took my Patreon down. There was simply no reason to have a Patreon anymore, considering how much income my channel was generating, and that's something.
Shit, you should still double dip, baby. Go for it. The only reason I took my Patreon down is I wasn't offering nothing. Like, if you want to donate to me, spend the $2 and be a member of the channel. Like, at least you get to watch the streams when they're. Because I put all my streams on members only after they're done, and then I'll take from there. And I'll put them up on my channel, on both the Papa Gut and Leftovers channel, or, based on the type of content or the length of content. But yeah, make your money, man. If you guys want to donate more, go ahead. It's cool. I appreciate you.
Something that I am genuinely grateful for. But it really is just that simple. I don't know why everything I do is now somehow linked to this situation that is ultimately about nothing. It's also very interesting to me that you act so high and mighty about the fact that if you were to ever start a Patreon, you would only charge your fans 1 cent because you're that much of a nice guy.
Honestly, if I made a Patreon, I'd probably be like, what's the minimum you can do?
Oh, we're about to get petty, baby. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it, baby.
Like a cent? Is that something you can do?
But you literally have channel memberships that start at £3 a month. Like, that's fine. Yep. Have channel memberships. It's whatever. But who's the virtue signaler here exactly?
And
that's a good point.
Nuance. See, because what you lack is nuance.
Nuance.
Being wrong is the quickest path to being right. Admitting your wrongs is the quickest path back to being a good person. Righting your wrongs, confessing your wrongs, being true to the people who support you and give you a job and a rent and a career. Okay? That is what gives you anything.
There is.
Listen, man, I'm not trying to be that guy. I am a true believer in feedback through failure, because it's a real thing. It's very real. But at the same time, there's people who they do this thing where they do this like morally virtuous I don't even know how to explain it. I sound like a fucking moron. There are people who they do this concept of like when they're wrong, they somehow come out on top because they're good enough to admit when they're wrong, and that makes them a good person. And it's like, we're expecting the bare minimum. It's good to admit when you're wrong. That's what you should do, right? But there's an energy with Lewis there that makes it seem like when I'm wrong and I admit it, that's because I'm going above and beyond. But like, we're just on the floor. Like, that's where you should be. And you should be careful of people who are like, well, at least I was big enough to admit it. Because sometimes that can be a fair thing to say, but most of the time, you're just looking for accolades for doing what you're supposed to do. It's like, hey guys, I wiped my butt today. Yay! We would cheer for a 4-year-old because you're 4. But for a grown man, you'd go, yeah, yes. Okay, cool stuff, man. Like, you wiped your ass. That's fucking awesome. Like, what are you telling me? It's disgusting. I use dude wipes. Get the rest of the poops out of there.
There is no nuance in perpetuating a story about me when there is no proof at all.
What you lack is nuance.
It's incredibly hypocritical of you to claim that I lack the nuance to run my channel, and that you have all the nuance, class, decency, empathy, and intelligence necessary to put yourself in the shoes of others and cover whatever topics you like. Where exactly was the nuance when you started off your videos on rape accusations and attempted murder?
What the hell is happening?
With JoJo's Bizarre Adventure edits. Couple of.
Wow. That was fucking crazy. That was. Holy shit. The gloves really just came off, bro. That was actually intense. I'm telling you, man, that makes you look real bad. That makes you look like you don't know how to talk about very serious situations with any level of decorum in any capacity. That is fucking embarrassing for you. They kind of just got destroyed on that one. I'm so sorry. That's fucking vicious. You got absolutely dumpstered, brother. Your knees are broken. Okay? That's what happened here.
Meaningless jokes that I made 3 years ago somehow prove that I'm a raging misogynist and I don't deserve a career. But you're able to start your video off on rape accusations like this, and that's all fine and dandy.
Audience member, my beautiful audience members, those who I cherish.
This is actually fucking insane.
More than any earthly possession I have, because without you, I would have nothing.
You can't cherish or respect your audience.
Hey guys, 5 booms for this guy's dead career. Boom! Boom! I'm not doing the rest because it's too annoying. But, yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. What was it they say? Oh, I'm so sorry that your brother died in a house fire. But we'll give you 5 booms for him.
That much if you're this willing to lie to their faces about another creator that you share that audience with. To call me a virtue signaler and talk to your audience like this is incredibly ironic.
So this is my proposition to you, you nuance-lacking goblin. Come on my show. Come on here. I will interview you unbiasedly.
Yeah.
I will ask you...
I don't think you know what that means, bud.
...questions. That is what I will do, okay? I'm offering you this proposition. I will interview you. If you feel as though you have no avenue for clearing your name, if there is really a way to clear your name, because you really...
I think this clears them pretty well.
...need to clear this up. Your audience, above all, deserves the truth from you.
You cannot make a video with baseless accusations and big lies to try and scare me into doing an interview for your YouTube channel. Who do you actually think you are?
That's a fair. That's a fair assumption that he wanted to do that.
Offering me an interview as though you're doing me a favor when you've just lied about me for 20 minutes in front of 300,000 people. If you genuinely cared about this, you would not be trying to get a YouTube video out of it and turn it into a public display. And what you claim to have been attempts to keep this private are...
Well, it's funny because like didn't he apologize? They said that he apologized privately. And like, why are you? And then earlier Lewis was like, "Oh, you should apologize privately at least." And he's like, "Didn't he already do that though?"
Similarly fictitious. You say to Papa Gut on stream that you had tried to keep this private by messaging me and that I had blatantly ignored you.
It's important to hold yourself accountable for these things, and he's not letting anybody reach him about it. I even messaged him directly, and he ignored it. So when you do that, it honestly feels like a kind of just like really idiotic thing to do.
You had left a comment on my channel and messaged me on Instagram 1 day before you decided to put your hit piece out on me. I hadn't even...
Which means he probably already finished making it. And then he possibly only made the gesture to be like, "Oh, I reached out to him and he didn't respond to me."
Seen the notification that I had even been messaged by you until after your video was already out. But even if I had seen and responded to your message in time, the fact that your video was out so soon after tells me that you already had your mind made up. In fact, the reason that you probably don't bring up the fact that you messaged me in your video is because it was probably recorded before you even messaged me. To give me
Recorded and edited. It might have taken him a little while to do that.
1 day to respond to you and assume that if I don't respond, I must...
Especially if the video, I think they showed on the screen that like he had shown at a point the thumbnail next to thumbnail of like her video or her live stream, I think was a month ago, and then his video was a week ago, so he probably did that over like 3 weeks.
To be a misogynistic abuse apologist is horrendously unfair. And even in these messages, you show the same level of...
It's crazy because he probably released that video and him and Katiclyzm were probably sitting there like, yeah, let's see how it does, and they're looking at the feedback and they're getting like such a high and they're like, "Oh my god, this is so good, everybody hates this kid, they're destroying him, I love it so much." Then boom. And then boom. It just went the opposite direction.
Ego and self-importance that you do in the video, claiming that we need to talk, that I'm required to answer your questions, and that I have to talk about the situation involving me. There is no situation, and we had exchanged like 10 messages before this. We're not friends at all, and I don't even know you. So whatever gave you the
Jesus Christ, this is so funny.
impression that you had the right to speak to me like this is beyond me. I do not have to talk about anybody or do anything that you want.
It says, I remember there was a point in the conversation I was having with them, and she was like, "Yeah, he did apologize to me." And then Lewis was like, "Yeah, well, he didn't respond to me." And I was like, "Well, you don't really matter." I said, I was nice. I said, "We don't really matter here, do we?" Like, it would be more of her, right? Because I guess she was the abuse victim, so she was the one that had more energy into it. Yeah.
I make YouTube videos, and that's that.
True,
I will not
same.
let any of you bully me into doing what you like. I would have been perfectly cordial if you had spoken to me like a normal person, but you didn't. And by the way...
How far do you think that they'll go to prove him that he's abusive? Do you think that Lewis will get like he'll go through gender confirmation and then get with this guy and then try to like get him to abuse him? You never know, dude. You never know, dude. Dude.
Neither did Katiclyzm. From the moment I ignored her offer to join call with her and her friends, she had begun randomly messaging me unwarranted, hateful messages whenever she felt like it. Not only that...
Sorry, sometimes I get a little infatuated with myself, because I'm fat.
But she was also hearting comments on her YouTube channel that accused me of being a potential sexual assaulter. The fact that either of you act as...
I'm a sexual pepperer. Probably not appropriate.
As though you were trying to be fair at any point, that you were trying to be respectful at any point, is honestly laughable.
This video about Jesse, I wanted to make it still with a little respect in my heart for him as a human.
Painting me out as a potential sexual assaulter goes beyond just hearting comments, though. Katiclyzm even...
Yeah, I mean, if you're just calling somebody a sexual predator, you're dehumanizing them. Because if you do that, you're not human, and you... and you know what I mean. I can't say anything explicit what should happen, but...
justifies her harassment towards me as putting a stop to my future abuse, comparing me to her ex-boyfriend who she said had poured boiling water over her.
Damn, where?
And telling people that if she didn't put a stop to me now, that I could end up like this.
But in all seriousness, guys...
Where the hell did he pour boiling water on?
Guys, this type of behavior is only the beginning. I've...
Because that would last forever, no? Like, boiling water? Wouldn't... If, like, legitimate boiling water, wouldn't that, like, burn you forever?
Seen... more often than not when stuff is just surface level, it gets worse and worse, And I just want to remind people, and this isn't a pity party, but I've made a video before about this. I've been in a relationship with someone for 2 years who abused me. Okay. And I saw it progressively get worse and worse, You start off not very nice, a little bit angry, a lot of apologies. You end the relationship having boiling water thrown down your front, being called every word under the sun, being thrown to the ground, multiple terrible things happening to you. And how did it start? With the little things.
Listen, I'm not trying to be an insensitive guy, but I think that when you come at scenarios like this, the way that you did when you come at this kid, Danky, whatever, when you come at him like this, it's going to lead people to question the authenticity of the potential abuse that you have. Because if your frame of thought is so wrong on this is what people are going to think. How do we know that your frame of thought on your relationship was wrong to right or wrong too? I've seen it plenty of times where people get into relationships and they have a bad time, and they both treat each other like shit, and then they get out, and then they go onto TikTok, and then they go, "I was fucking abused," and there's a massive economy for abuse, for grooming, for autism, for ADHD, for some kind of victim complex, and people do this stuff all the time where they sensationalize to seem like they can belong to this identity group of victimization. And that's a very, to me, new age thing. I grew up not thinking that. For me, like and I don't know if this is good, but like I have my own issues. I have like mental health. I got fucking I have ADHD, like it was pretty severe. I have OCD. I have like fucking Tourette's and all these other different issues and things. And we tried not to talk about it though. It wasn't like the forefront of our personality. We tried to kind of get through life and not use things as an excuse. Like I used to work with a dude he's fucking autistic, but he refuses to get and he's stubborn, but like he didn't want to be seen as abnormal. Totally understandable, totally respectable. Nowadays, people want to be seen. That's the uniqueness of people now. They want to be some kind of a victim. And I'm not saying that's you, but when you operate like this, it makes it difficult for people, even like myself, to look at you and go like, oh, I believe that happened to you. And I don't want that. I know that sounds horrible. And I would never, if a matter of fact, say that. But like these are the moments where like you're showing your character, and your inability to interpret certain pieces of information is going to make people go like, there's something off about this. If you don't have the ability to interpret something like meat curtains or beef curtains correctly, how do I know that you can interpret everything correctly? So, it's just something to keep in mind. You really want to stay consistent with yourself. You want to carry things with a little bit more of a little more decorum here. So
it always starts off small, and it's not something that people should think when, because if you say, oh, don't call him out for that small thing, then you're implying that small things should just be let go. When it comes to women and abuse, no, small things shouldn't be.
I hope I don't need to explain how genuinely horrific an allegation like this is when the only piece of evidence that you have is an annoying orange joke and a follow on Instagram.
That is true.
I'm very sorry that this happened to you, Katie.
That is very true.
But it's simply not an excuse for you to levy these baseless accusations against me.
I said, I'm asking you questions privately before I ask them publicly.
Okay.
So here, ladies and gentlemen, we have an example of me giving him a pretty good chance to even just explain himself. I'm not saying that I would have been his friend if he had. I would have still thought that you are an ignorant idiot, okay? But I wanted to give him the chance to explain, because who knows, there could have been some...
Let me tell you, man, commentary is not for young people. I don't think it's for old people either. A commentary brings out the worst of you and the worst in other people. You know, I love being catty and petty and like silly, and I think I've done it well here. We have a nice small channel. We don't have like a whole lot of people here, and I do my best to keep the horrible negative energy out. I think that we like to look at it like from the sidelines. We're like, oh, look, it's happening. I do my best not to involve myself. I was involved in this because they popped in, but I would never seek it out anymore. That's not really my thing. It's too much. It's too negative. It comes into your real life. It really does. I've had an instance of that where I was more negative and I brought that into my life. It's not good for you. But really, you got to be careful if you want to do this. I would not recommend doing this type of work. It's easy. My job is extraordinarily easy. I'm not saying what I do is hard, but like that energy is so horribly toxic and it invades your real life, and you turn into that. You legitimately just turn into that. Your life starts to become more dramatic. Like you're really fucking yourself. And yeah, I do agree. There is a sense of superiority and authority here when you're like, I'm going to give you a chance to respond to this, or I'm moving forward. And it's like, yeah, but this isn't a thing that matters. It's true. It's just like, you know, it's tough. It's tough. And while maybe this was a nice view boost for you guys in the shorthand, in the long run, it's obviously diminished your credibility. You can still move through it, but you need to take a deep breath and go like, okay, how do I want to move forward? And again, I hate, you know, I love to say it, but you guys think it's so fucking cringe. The only reason I've been able to move forward as a content creator is because of my wife and being able to have a conversation with her about what does and doesn't matter, and about how to and to not interact with certain people and certain things. That's the only reason that we're here, you know? I don't know if these young people have somebody to ground them in reality. My wife's like a working woman. She's like a legitimate working woman. She's not online like I am. And so it keeps me offline, like mentally, somewhat. I'm still a little online, obviously, but it keeps me anchored. It keeps me grounded in reality. It's like, what do you have that does that for you guys? I don't know that they do. They're young people with young friends online. That's the world we live in now. These are young people who went to school during COVID. It's a huge deal. I was at a family party yesterday, and I was talking to my cousin, and she has a kid. He's in his 20s. He graduated during COVID. So they lost their graduation ceremony. They lost a lot of in-person things, and now everything is very online. People struggle to be grounded in reality. Online is becoming everybody's reality in such a, I think, negative, toxic way. They're not like seeing people or touching people or having like personal experiences in a more meaningful way, and it makes you dehumanize people because it's easy. You know, this is just a person on a screen, but if I saw them in the real life, I'd be like, oh, like you're a person, like, oh, you know what I mean? And there's going to be a different interaction with them because you realize that they're very real. It becomes like a real person. That's lacking. And again, these are young people who went to school during COVID, and I'm sure that had an impact on their development. And I think that that's a big part of this whole thing. And you need to try to figure out how to ground yourself. The only person that can probably do it is your parents. You know? I don't know. I just feel like it's something to keep in mind. This is fucking crazy.
Something going on, Dan.
This is not you giving me a chance to explain myself. This is just a threat. Why would I want to engage with you after finding out that you're screenshotting messages in real time and are now threatening me? It's very clear here that you do not have good intentions. Sure. I just don't understand what editing for Alex makes me guilty of. I'm being witch hunted for my previous employment. We were never close. In fact, you literally make the claim that he would regularly shit talk me.
And I also want to add a really hilarious addition to this situation, which makes it the fucking icing on the cake. Alex used to chat shit about Jesse, and I mean, he would criticize his work, he would say he was shit.
Then why would you think they're friends? No, that doesn't even make sense. This is why would you these two things are incongruent.
He said all sorts. He said that his work was just terrible. Like, it's like you're defending someone, Jesse, that didn't like you and was two-faced to you.
You even messaged me this saying,
how does she know that? Where did she learn that from? Was she talking to friends of his? I don't understand. Doesn't that put her within like a approximation of a complicit to Alex then by this logic? Because that's the only thing that we got on this guy, is that he's close to Alex, so he's a bad guy. So where'd you hear this information from? Somebody that was close to Alex, so they're a bad guy? What?
saying you should do a video on the shit talking Alex used to do about you. Content idea for you. But just one message previous, you say that it's blindingly obvious the two of us were close. Based on what? An annoying orange joke. I literally apologized to you about that joke on call as well. Even though Lewis is claiming that I just hung up and ran away. And on this Papa Gut stream, he says that if I had just apologized privately, none of this ever would have happened.
But he did apologize. So.
Continued to deflect and ignore and lie to cover up that initial incident, when that initial incident wouldn't have become such a big issue if he had just addressed it when everybody asked him to, right? When, like, to those people, not even publicly, right? If he had just apologized privately, this never would have been a
By the way, it's not just a stream, it's a video, guys, okay?
situation, but he continued to make it a problem, right? He created this giant cascading event that could have been avoided by him just being less of a, you know, weirdo about it.
I don't know what Katie told you about the call that we had, but I did apologize privately to her in this call about the screenshots.
Yeah, we had that conversation on the stream. It was one of the points that I made to him. I'm like, but he did apologize. You're saying he apologized, right? It's like, oh yeah.
I said it was really dumb to respond in the way I did and that I should have ignored it. She even goes on to admit this later on in the stream.
One-on-one, when we had this phone call, he admitted that it was wrong. I don't know if that was reiterated in the video that you just watched, but he told me he shouldn't have said it.
Yeah.
And that he should have taken it more seriously.
And even on the pinned comment she wrote on the stream about me, she says that I had indeed apologized for the screenshot. Despite this, Lewis says that—
damn it, she spelled apologize wrong.
All I needed to do was apologize in private, and none of this would have happened. I did apologize for the message privately, and it ended up meaning nothing. I don't know what else was expected or wanted from me. It seems as—
well, it seems like they're looking for a problem. So even if you apologize, they're just going to continuously move the goalpost.
Though no matter what I had done, you would have found a way to justify that I don't deserve a career and that your harassment towards me is necessary.
Let's say it was just a needless joke, okay? He's
just, but it kind of seemed like it was. I don't even know if it was a needless joke. It just seemed to be a stupid joke, you know? Like,
still deleted messages. He still had to apologize for it in private.
So in a few minutes, we've gone from, if he had apologized in private, none of this ever would have happened, to, well, actually, he did apologize in private, but that's exactly why this has to happen. Because his apology is proof that he's guilty and deserves what he's getting from us. What you're basically saying here is that no matter what I would have done, I would have been fucked.
Yeah, pretty much. That's that's actually true.
If I don't apologize, then I'm running away from it all, but if I do apologize, I'm somehow admitting to defending and supporting abuse. I really appreciate the class, nuancy, and dignity from you here, Lewis.
What you lack is nuance.
Oh my
Both
God.
you and Katiclyzm talk constantly about how you're the perfect YouTubers, how unlike everybody else, you have no skeletons in your closet, and so you don't need to live in constant fear of being exposed.
I don't have
I have skeletons in my closet. They're just the children. But they're actually in my basement.
anything
Which is where my office is. And there's the closet.
about me that anybody can expose. I don't plan
That makes me sound... that's a bad joke. I gained self-awareness just this moment.
on doing anything terrible. And it means that I can come online and equally judge people. Anybody that can't or say they can't talk about stuff is usually because they have stuff to hide themselves or they're panicking because they're somehow linked.
Do you know what it feels like to see all
What? Wait, what?
Fear of being exposed.
Sorry, I need to listen to that again.
I don't have anything about me that anybody can expose. I don't plan on doing anything terrible. And it means that I can come online and equally judge people. Anybody that can't or say they can't talk about stuff is usually because they have stuff to hide themselves or they're panicking because they're somehow linked.
Do you know what
That's just such a weird thing to say. It's just so weird. It's called having boundaries, not talking about some things online. Well, that doesn't matter. What? Also, I feel like I'd rather somebody that with like some skeletons in their closet. Nothing crazy. I don't want somebody who's like done horrible shit. But like, you know, I prefer people who've done bad things and realize that they've done bad things because it gives them a better, I feel like it makes them better at being able to judge these things. If you're somebody who's perfect or you think you're perfect, especially, you have like this high degree of arrogance about you, which this feels like these two are coming out here with. So either they're perfect or they have zero self-awareness. I'd rather the guy who's like, yeah, I kind of fucked up. Like, he has a better understanding of the situations. That's what I want to hear. Yeah, I kind of fucked up with this. I don't want anything intense. You know, I don't want somebody that's like doing nasty shit with kids or something. That's fucked up. Or like beating people up in the street. Like, yeah, you know, I used to be racist. I used to be part of the KKK. That's too racist. Okay? Just give me the regular one that silently judges when you're at the DMV. Okay? But yeah, I don't know. I don't want that like perfect perspective. I'm not perfect. I've never been perfect. I don't want that. I don't need some fucking perfect person or somebody pretending to be perfect to try to lecture me on like the difficulties of life. Life's tough. Like, life is difficult. Nobody's ever going to be perfect because it's just so hard. You know, we're exposed to so many different things. I'd rather hear the person that was able to overcome being imperfect and is still imperfect, but they're like self-aware, you know?
What it feels like to see all of these commentary YouTubers dropping like flies, it worries me.
Why?
Because personally, I don't have any skeletons in my closet.
Are they dropping like flies, man?
I've had a very boring life, okay? I've been a straight edge kid. I've been I was in one musical. You know, I didn't have many friends. I kind of just watched.
I fucking knew it. I knew he was in musicals. You could just tell. It's not even a hot thing. Let's be real. Oh, wow, Papa Guy. You were able to tell the obvious. Yeah, I was able to add up 2 dimes and a quarter. 45 cents.
Shows, stayed inside and didn't shower enough as a child. You know, I was a very cloistered individual. Like, I didn't do anything.
Sheltered.
Okay. But that kind of makes me the perfect YouTuber in a way, even though my life kind of sucked and I suffered with a lot of depression because of it. But somehow I still worry that I'm going to be involved.
How does this make you? What the hell's happening? I'm so fucking confused. It's just such a weird thing to say. This had to have been in a different video, right? This is so annoying. This is so cringe. I'm sorry, but like when you're telling people that you're like the perfect YouTuber because you're a dork, like you're a socially awkward kid who very quickly found success online, and you thought that success online gave you some level of credibility, and this is a problem. And like, here's the nuance that you like to talk about. Is that there are a lot of rich people who pretend that being rich means that you are automatically a figure of authority. And you're doing that. You're making money on your channel, probably doing well, especially for a 20-year-old, better than most 20-year-olds have ever done. And then you're sitting here and being like, because I'm making money, there's a reason. There must be a reason why I'm popular, and there must be a reason why I make a lot of money, and it's because I'm a good person. And that's often not the case, or it's not always the case. Just because you make a lot of money, just because you're popular, just because people like you right now, doesn't mean that you are good or morally virtuous. And this fast track to success has made you think that you have finished developing. And so it's probably a good thing that you get dumpstered, because you need a year to figure your shit out. You need a year of bad views, and you need a year of like introspection to be like, wow, like I fucked up. It takes a long time, because this is just crazy. This is just bizarre.
Involved with some person and they're going to turn out to be terrible.
Another reason why people like Alex get away with it for so long is that people have dirt on each other. The reason why I'm able to make this video and potentially not make
I would have thought it's because he didn't abuse these women in front of people, because he was like he knew what he was doing and he was like trying to hide it. That's what I would have assumed that, you know.
Other people is because I've done absolutely nothing wrong with my time online.
What about when you made a video on a transgender woman that was so ignorant and transphobic that you had to delete it? Your first video on Lily Tino is now only available on Papa Gut's stream VOD now, because
holy fuck, that's actually so funny. Yeah, she came in and admitted that her video was so bad. Oh, listen, it's January 2025. It's time to make learning to be self-aware. That's got to be your New Year's resolution there, just to be clear. You know, it's like you didn't know what you did wrong until you did it. Somebody's like, "Oh, you did it wrong." You know? Damn. Bro, I'm not even kidding. This video's done extraordinarily well. But I'm telling you right now, if Lewis and Katiclyzm did not come onto my stream in my video and have a conversation, this video would not be the way that it is, because they just came on and they basically wrote him a rough draft of how to absolutely dumpster these motherfuckers. They helped him. They wrote a rough draft on how he could dunk on them. And he's already got the genetics to do it. Okay, all right, enough of that. But it's really fucking owning them.
because you deleted the original.
Stocks
I'm
are
not
up.
even criticizing you for doing so,
Stocks are
because
up.
the original was genuinely offensive. But it's just very ironic considering how much you're...
It was. Latino's not a particularly good person, but that video was like really awkward and weird. I think it like made a lot of suggestions that she's like a child predator. It's like, what the fuck? She's just really cringe and needs to stop going out to eat.
Criticizing me from running away from my issues and hiding stuff from my audience.
I just want to also say, on behalf of Alice, like, she's had so many absolute idiots come online and exploit the situation, leak DMs she didn't want to be leaked, and just genuinely be insensitive.
Do you not realize that you are literally leaking private DMs as you complain about people leaking private DMs? Not only did you leak everything on your stories and on this stream, but you even leaked it to Louis McClung and later admitted that you were recording the call between us.
I understand that. Did you happen to record the conversation you had with him? This is one of those moments where I remember I said, I was like, oh, okay, I understand why you wouldn't say it because you want to be professional. But like looking back, I'm like, no, it's concerning that you wouldn't want to put it out. There must be something in there. And I don't think it's just a legal thing.
The really annoying thing is I did. And I had it on my computer for a really long time. My boyfriend edits my videos and it was on an SD card. I'm trying to figure out how to retrieve it. But then when I've...
Lewis, you don't have a shot, dude. She's got a boyfriend. Stop. Stop it, bud. You gotta stop it, okay?
Spoken to people about like whether I'd be able to like, you know, release it. It's a different story because I didn't tell him I was recording.
And the only reason you hadn't posted this recording yet is because you were scared of being sued, which you admitted in this tweet.
Oh, maybe that is true. Maybe she did feel like she might be sued. Is that how? Maybe there's not a two-party, or maybe it was a two-party state or something.
Because obviously you were doing it all without my knowledge or consent.
Where the hell does this guy live? I don't know where these guys live. They have English accents. Is it a two-party consent state? England. I don't know. That's how. Okay, yeah. In the United Kingdom, it's generally unlawful to record private conversation without obtaining the consent of all participating parties. Okay, so that's probably what it is. Okay, that makes sense. Commentary bros were upset you didn't go harder on them, but in this interview, was the nail of the coffin because they felt comfortable being so open about it. That is true. That is true. That's true. Listen, commentary bros. I was just grooming these children into feeling comfortable to admit everything. That's not what I was doing. I was just trying to unironically. Got to stop with this shit. I was just trying to get them to talk. I wanted to change their mind because I felt that they were wrong. So I wasn't slamming into them because it wasn't supposed to be a dunk piece on them. It was supposed to be like a, hey, I disagree. Here's why. And like I feel like I got there, and they did admit a lot of things that I think helped him make his video, which is a good thing. And hopefully they can reflect. They can move on and be better because, you know, people have done worse on the internet.
Katiclyzm even says that we had a nice conversation where I gave her good advice about YouTube.
But when I asked him explicitly, because he reached out to me and he seemed nice, to be fair. Like he was friendly to me. He was okay. He explained.
August, don't clip that, please.
A lot about like what I should do differently on YouTube, but it's kind of like a little bit irrelevant.
How this has been spun into me trying to flirt and mansplain how to be a better YouTuber for 2.5 hours and then run away when the screenshot was brought up is insane to me.
I wonder if they like actually think that it's okay in some part of their brain, because her interpretation of that event was like, oh, it was kind of good, but then when she's talking about it, she's like, he's a horrible person. And I wonder, I mean, there's obviously a level of maliciousness there, but it's also a very comfortable level, and it's almost like you came on and you admitted to us that it really wasn't that bad, and so why would you do that unless there's some kind of a block in your brain that's telling you that it's online content, so you can kind of do whatever you want, and like it's no holds barred, like Maury, Jerry Springer type shit. It's just interesting because it seems like when you're having a casual conversation, you understand like what had happened in your conversation with him, but then when you're out of your content brain, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. But when you're in content brain, you're like, oh, this was the worst thing that ever happened to me ever.
Forgive me for trying to make friends in the space and being nice. Trust me, I won't be making that mistake again.
I feel so bad. I actually feel bad for this guy, unironically, because like it could be hard to make commentary friends, especially because like when you're friends with commentary people, other people in the commentary sphere could do some dumb shit, and then you feel pressure to talk about them, and then sometimes it could be a fucking mess. I feel that. So
the claim that I'm running away from you or the situation is also ridiculous.
No.
Because I'm not being funny, Katie, but why the fuck would I ever respond to messages like these ones? Katiclyzm is threatening me, but...
Let's see what it say. I'm asking you questions probably before I ask them publicly. You are actually unbelievable. with like a laughing face. I hope you sleep well at night knowing how much of a hypocrite you are. Can we recall the Discord call where you literally talk about the respect you have for Alex? I respect how you covering up people calling out. It's so blindly obvious you two were close. Interesting. Oh no. Okay. I don't know. I'm just going to be real with you here. Right? This was after they had their phone call. And she admits that she was afraid to release it because it wasn't in a two-party consent area. And so I don't know if this actually happened in the call. I'm leaning towards it didn't. But what it sounds like is she's trying to generate credibility that it did because she knows she can't use the call. So she had a call. She knows she can't use it, but she had the call. And that's going to make people feel like, oh, well, then her interpretation of the call must be true. Whatever she says is probably true. But it seems like it's not. So what does she do? She comes out and she, in my opinion, seemingly misinterprets the call in text messages so she can screenshot that and she could throw it on the screen and go, hey. And honestly, if that is the case, you really fucked up because that makes you look like a very bad person and you should be genuinely ashamed of yourself. That's pathetic. That's just gross behavior. You know, that would be if that's true, you really need to question the type of person you are because it's disappointing. That's disappointing.
Why the fuck would I ever respond to messages like these ones? Katiclyzm is threatening me, bullying me, and in her stream about me, the majority of it is her just insulting me.
You've never seen a vagina in real life, have you, Jesse? That's all I'm gonna say.
Alongside baseless accusations with no actual substance. This was never—
Damn, he's bullying an asexual guy for not seeing a vagina? That's kind of fucked up. It's kind of ableist, maybe? Wait. Wait a minute. I don't think being asexual is a mental illness. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry for the ignorance, guys, but let me tell you, I got a fucking mental illness called gooning. So, sorry about that, brothers and sisters and thisters. Of course, I'm so sorry for you guys. I'm sorry about that one. It was a little rough there. I was a little off the cuff. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Never going to be a fair conversation. She even says on the
My bad.
Gut stream that she never intended to make any of this public, but then on that very same stream admits that she was recording the call without my knowledge or consent.
Damn. And I wasn't planning on talking about it publicly.
If you were never planning to make this a public thing, why were you recording the call that we had?
True.
Why were you threatening to make this public? And why were you excitedly tweeting out about how much you wanted to expose?
Being a content creator is knowing you want to expose some people so bad, but you know their ass is gonna sue you, so you forced to sit silently. Damn.
Just a reminder, by the way, that Lewis was accusing me of being weird because I wanted to call. If we had to pick who was being weird here, is it me for trying to have a casual conversation with another YouTuber, or is it the one who was literally planning to entrap me over nothing from the start? There was never an attempt to get the truth or anything of the sort. This was always a—
Yeah, I wonder if those who are watching the stream right now, they might be. Or maybe they're not. Maybe they're just trying to take a rest. I mean, if they are, you know, hopefully some of the things I'm saying will sink in. It's possible. I wouldn't think so because I'm a fucking fat nobody, but they watched the other one, so it's possible.
About trapping me and ending my career because I made a joke about the annoying orange. I thought we were having a casual conversation. I had no idea that I was being recorded whilst I was being interrogated about my former employment and my former boss, whom I have no involvement with. As far as I'm concerned, I made a stupid joke because I was annoyed that people were messaging me about my former boss.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
The fact that this has been blown to this scale over one throwaway joke that I didn't think much of at the time is terrifying. The two of you constantly talk about how you don't want to cancel me.
That I'm not intending to cancel him.
I'm not trying to cancel you. I'm just calling you out. I'm virtuous.
I've spoke about this before. I don't particularly believe in cancel culture. It's kind of cringe. It defeats the whole purpose of holding people accountable because it just is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, but the problem is like that you're hitting us with that energy, that cancellation energy. I don't know if they ever truly gave us a meaningful. I don't think that they ever told us what accountability looks like to them, right? Like you're saying it's to apologize privately, but then he apologizes privately and you move public. So clearly, you guys never had an out like a point. You guys never had an actual point of like, what do we want from this? We want accountability. What does that look like? And then they can't give you an answer. And then when they do, and then that person takes that accountability, It's not enough for them, right? And that's what cancel culture is. Cancel culture is calling people out for stupid reasons with no actual meaningful and reasonable outcome for it. No meaningful, reasonable outcome of equality. Or, excuse me, equality. No, I'm like reading the chat and people are going fucking crazy. Outcome for, you know what I'm talking about. Whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. Accountability. Stop saying I get pegged!
Most of the time.
I only wish what he has brought on himself. Okay, his own decisions. I don't want him to be canceled. I don't want him to lose a job. I don't want him to be thrown off the face of the earth or sent into a pit or whatever. What I want is for him to tell his audience the truth and stop lying to them.
I don't even think necessarily that Jesse, Dankyjabo should just disappear offline and never return.
Let's be honest. If you didn't want to cancel me, you would not have approached me in the way that you did. You would not have made this many baseless accusations against me that do not accurately represent the conversations that took place between us.
Yo, thanks for calling, man. Appreciate it. If you ever want to join a call with us, feel free. Gives you a chance to talk. Yeah.
You wouldn't excitedly be tweeting about how much you wanted to...
Maybe she was hitting on him and he's like, I'm asexual. So she's like, oh yeah, well, you're fucking canceled.
To expose me, and you wouldn't be saying shit like this on stream.
And it makes me feel like sad. Like I just want to like log into his channel and delete it. Like it needs to be deleted.
I don't know about you, but those do not
Why?
Sound like the words of somebody who doesn't want me cancelled.
I wonder if in the conversation I remember saying something like Dankyjabo's content, like it looks like pretty much the same as like a lot of other people's content. Somebody that's big in the sphere makes a perspective on something and then everybody kind of makes the same video and over again. I remember saying that, and like, sorry if it was offensive to him. I don't watch his content, so I could be wrong, but it seems like all of them make that same content. And it's like, I wonder if they got offended by me saying that.
This video about Jesse. I wanted to make it still with a little respect in my heart for him as a human, right? He needs to live, he needs to make money, right? That's why I make it clear I don't want to end his career. That's not at all my prerogative.
Was it respectful when Katiclyzm recorded a call without my knowledge or consent? Was it respectful when you uploaded a video on me giving me only 1 day to respond during the holidays? Was it respectful when you baselessly accused me of cheating on my girlfriend by flirting with Katiclyzm? Was it respectful when you took 2 jokes I made 3 years ago about cartoon characters as proof that I'm a misogynist?
But he was right about that. Just to be clear, he was right about Little Bunny. Stand by that one.
Was it respectful when you told your audience that I was spreading racist rhetoric because of what was once again a harmless joke? Both of you have been anything but respectful.
They did make the mistake of not looking at his skin color when they were trying to call him a racist. You can be racist in black. You can be racist against black people if you're black. I'm just saying it's kind of, you got to do a little bit more to prove racism. I mean, it's kind of like, honestly, not to be, conservative gut right now, but you guys kind of nay-nayed yourself. You guys kind of looked like the morally virtuous liberal that pretends to care about black issues and then goes and tries to cancel black people. It kind of makes you look like that.
Have both tried to bully me into making an apology and levied your audiences against me. These lies and baseless accusations have been greatly damaging not just to my YouTube channel, but also to my personal life. And
That's
it's
fair.
all based on...
Which is like a big part of it. I feel like a lot of a cancellation is how you interpret it. And if you take it hard, people are like shitting on you and you're getting harassed, and it's going to make you in a worse place to make content. So...
pure conjecture, which is very ironic considering that you guys accuse me of trying to manipulate my audience when I have done everything to try and avoid being dragged into this petty gossip and drama. It's very clear to me that we had a very different upbringing and come from 2 very different parts of the world. To put jokes in your video that you know were jokes and use them to label me as a misogynist, as spreading racist rhetoric, and as an abuse apologist, I don't think I need to even explain how ridiculous that is at this point. This is my one and only response. We'll be right back to making normal videos now.
That's kind of a class act response. There's really nothing I can do to criticize it. I think it might have been perfect, honestly. I just want to watch this part.
Videos on rape accusations and attempted murder with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure edits.
Because I do it in every video. Every single video I do it. People tell me it's good. I do it.
A couple of meaningless jokes that I made 3 years ago somehow prove I'm a raging misogynist and I don't deserve a career. But you're able to start your video off on rape accusations like this, and that's all fine and dandy.
Audience member, my beautiful audience members, those who I cherish more than any earthly possession I have, because without you, I would have nothing.
You can't cherish or respect your audience that much if you're this willing to lie to their faces.
Lying implies intent, dude. I had no intent. I was just talking about things and what they could mean.
Damn, he's not even gonna react to it.
It's that simple. God damn, dude. I'm not.
All he had to say was his audience told him to do it. Your audience told you to make a mockery out of rape accusations. It's a rough one, man, because that's kind of what it does, dude. Damn.
Lying. I was simply saying what I thought was happening. Also, it's really late here, so I'm a little sleepy, so ignore me if I yawn. How long did you give you? Do you mean how long did I give him? Like...
Jesus Christ. All right, let's see. He posted a response. I'm not watching his 3-hour-long stream upload. Just to be clear, but it looks pretty bad. Let's see the 3 minutes. Maybe he's come to terms with some of the stuff. Actually, sorry, I want to read this first. My bad. I want to read these first from Katiclyzm and Lewis. Okay, we're gonna start this, and then we're gonna watch the response. Don't worry. It's 3 minutes. Hey people, thank you, dude. I'm so sorry. Look at this. Look at this. Incredible. Hey people, thank you guys for messaging me regarding the Dankyjabo response video to Lewis. I really wish he would have said his name. I've seen the entire video and I've taken into consideration some of the comments and outside perspectives. I just want to start off by saying that it was good to see Dankyjabo has cleared up that he is not in touch with Alex anymore. It seems like he cleared that up already in your private conversation. I think that goes without saying, and I want to apologize to Danky for ever making him feel as if he was forced into a video. I can't talk my way out of that, as now looking at the situation in hindsight, I see exactly how you would have felt. There was no other option, and meaning you had to talk about things you weren't comfortable with talking about is also something I feel deeply guilty for. Truthfully, no one else ever needed to get involved in this, and I do. Oh no! Ethan is onlining. Maybe this is a woman behavior. Maybe Eden is real. Okay, the reason why I'm saying this is that no one ever needed to get involved in this. She's trying to pin it on Lewis. That's what this is. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. She's trying to pin it on him. That the stream format I originally did was probably not the smartest idea for making talking points about someone who I was upset with. That was my first mistake. It was something that I should not have made publicly, especially as I really did not mean for it to be a witch hunt. I thought I was doing the right thing in regards to what I deemed to be morally right, but something I'm learning is sometimes it's best to just keep some things offline. I'm happy to see that it has been cleared up, and this is my final say on the matter. I've deleted the stream out of respect for Dankyjabo. That's not true. You deleted it because it makes you look bad. Now that he has cleared things up, not friends with Alex, which he cleared up already, it seems, in private, but you didn't believe him. I hope it's more of like optically she looks wrong. Like, that's what it is. She is wrong, but like if optically she looked right, she would have kept it up. I hope this is something that doesn't mean you guys feel you cannot trust me. I try at times to just say what I'm feeling, and sometimes what I'm feeling may not be the best idea to just throw online, especially without more context and solid information. As due to this all blowing up, it has essentially made he said, she said, which is definitely not something that should be brought online ever, and it's completely my fault. I take responsibility for my mistakes. I apologize to anybody who confused, annoyed at me, and take criticism on board as always. So here's the reality. This is like, seemed like there was malicious intent in her original video, but since this is the first time that, I think this is probably the first time something like this has happened from her. I don't really know, but it's, well, I guess, well, yeah, for the most part, where she, like, you know, went after like a creator in this way. As long as she doesn't do it again, she'll be fine. But like, this is going to be used in a reference if she ever goes after somebody with some baseless bullshit again. Now we got to get to our boy, Lewis McClung. Thank you, Jabo, for your response. If I am to delete anything, it will be if he asks me to. That's just a weird thing to say. Why wouldn't you just delete it? And I apologize for making him feel like he needs to out himself. I did not intend for that whatsoever. I'm very sorry. Oh, I guess because he said he was asexual, which means you force him to out himself, you know. I truly believe what I was saying and was not giving info to prove your side because, frankly, we didn't have your side and we weren't getting it. Which is Lewis saying it's kind of your fault for not talking to me. So with all that considered, I made a video. At the moment, it felt correct to do. I was not lying, and I didn't intend to spread a narrative that I wasn't truly invested in. But to Jesse, I apologize for any discomfort I caused and for any permanent damage that will persist in you because of any statements. And my goal was simply to spread info as it always is. To my audience, my most beautiful audience, I will do better for all of you if you're willing to give me another shot. Only if. I talked to Danky in private. He cleared up literally everything, and I deleted my live and video because he deserves to not have it affect him any longer. Dude, he's trying to make it seem like him doing this, like pulling the videos down, is for Danky's sake. It's for your sake. You look terrible in this. What are you talking about? This is what I'm talking about. Like, he's in the wrong. He's getting dumpstered for it. But now he's like, I deleted the videos for his sake and not for mine. It's for your sake, 1,000%, and you know that. In the video, I stated info I had that might be bad and didn't show it because I had no context. I asked him about it and most likely nothing, so all good news. Okay. Except me being a fool. Okay. Interesting. Whatever. It's time to move on to the response video. Let's see what this is after we reformat it. There we go.
I'm really sorry.
Thanks, bro.
To Jesse, to my audience, to his, to whoever overlaps. I'm sorry for any harm I caused by spreading my ideas as fact. I apologize for being forced.
Opinions as fact. I think it's fair to be very specific there, because ideas can be your ideas can be facts. Just okay.
Forceful when trying to get an apology or.
Why is your mic so bad? Is this how bad his what?
Or a statement out of Jesse when it was really not my place to do so, or my right to interject myself. I apologize to all my fans that I hurt by misplacing your trust, and I apologize to everyone who took my word as fact and then acted upon it, and now feels bad about doing so. It's not your fault. It's mine for insinuating any of it. I apologize to Dankyjabo, Jesse, for making him feel like he needs to out himself. That was never my intention, but it still happened.
Is this him just reading the same fucking thing that we just read?
And I am still extremely sorry for doing so. Do not feel good about it in the slightest. As two ace people, I hope one day, in the very far future, that we can be part of the community together. I spoke with Jesse last.
Bro, I'm sorry. This apology is such a virtue signal. I'm sorry that I had to make him come out as asexual. Okay. That's not the biggest deal here. Okay. That's not the biggest deal here. I think the biggest deal is everything else, but okay.
Last night at time of recording, and we had a very productive conversation considering. I mean, even without all of this, it still would have been a very productive conversation. Because I had some things in my possession, some quote-unquote evidence that if it was true, it would be very bad for him. To all people saying I was blackmailing him, that was never my intention. In a live that I greatly regret doing, it was a huge mistake. I almost showed this, again, quote-unquote evidence, without consulting him. In the heat of the moment, when I almost showed it, I then also, in the heat of the moment, decided I shouldn't do this without talking to him. And by that point, it was too late, and I had already mentioned this quote-unquote evidence. I felt in the moment that I had to keep repeating myself. Again, it was a live, and it was my fault that it was, which did come across like blackmailing, which was truly never my intention.
It sounds like you're telling him that you have information that you thought at the time would have been destructive, and it was like a threat to get him to talk to you. Okay.
I just wanted to talk.
Oh, blackmail. What do you mean by that? Racist?
Talk to him privately. Again, we had a very productive conversation, and I'm going to keep it private. I'm not going to show any receipts, considering the opposite is what got us here in the first place. For all of those who want to know more information, all I will say is that he gave me ample proof that this was misinformation, or at least blown out of proportion. It was never a problem, and it will never be a problem. Also, I wanted to be very clear. Katie did not come to me for me to make this video. I went to her to ask if she had any more evidence on the subject. She then just showed me what she had already posted.
Yeah, so she gave you the green light. Damn, he's simping so hard. he wants it so bad that even he's willing to take the heat from her. It was my fault for making it. If she gave you the information you asked for, she knew what you wanted it for. She's just as complicit as you are for this absolute shit show.
On other sites like YouTube and Twitter, and I went on my way to make my script and then to make my video. For those who are mad at me, I do not blame you. You have every undying right to be fed up with me. But to say that Katie threw me under the bus, and then for those of you who are out there mocking
that's what's happening.
Her abuse, that is too far. That is why her and I made our videos in the first place. It was to address a situation in which somebody could possibly be mocking abuse. It turned out to be very, very wrong.
Yeah, no shit, huh?
And we were very, very wrong. But that does not give you the right to mock her abuse.
Truthfully, I know this sounds terrible. I don't mean to be rude. I don't care if people are mocking her alleged abuse. I mentioned this earlier in the video. The way that they've handled this situation, their lens on life, makes it difficult for people, myself included, to believe that there might be like a truth to what she's saying. So I'm sorry that's, and I think that's a very nice way of saying it. And there's other people who are probably saying it in a not a nice way. But you need to be careful in the way that you interact with the world, because it is, like I said, very popular for people to sensationalize things that happen to them online. And this is what's going to happen when one of those things, which is this Dankyjabo situation, you sensationalize that. It shows me the worldview, the lens that you look at life through. It's hard for me to believe that you have the ability to look through other parts of your life with a solid lens. This is the first or second time, I guess, but this is a big interaction that we're seeing from you guys and the way that you filter your life through. So it's difficult for people to believe that it happened. I don't think that's, I'm sorry. That's insensitive, but.
As for me, be as brutal as you see fit. And to Jesse and my audience.
Yeah. has to be as brutal to him, guys. He's a fucking martyr.
Once again, I am extremely sorry. I will learn from this like there is no tomorrow, and grow from this instead of letting it become a pattern. I was so dead set on sticking to my upload schedule that I would be negligent of a story and allowing it to grow so that I could then cover it in good faith. From now on, I will only upload videos on subjects where I take the ample time to find proof, as diligently and as long as it takes for me to do so.
Well, yeah, but isn't most of your content like, I mean, most of the content is looking at other people's perspectives on a topic. No, aren't these all hot topics other people have talked about, and you're like, oh, okay, here's the safe take. Like here, the child exploitation epidemic. Like this is an easy one. Oh, they're exploiting the Rizzler. It's like, okay, we've heard these boring takes before, you know.
I will learn and I will grow. This was a huge mistake on my end, and I only made it worse by hopping onto a stream in the heat of the moment when I did not have my full opinion settled. And I deleted my live and my video as to not spread any more hate to his side of the internet. Now that I know I have done damage, I will not allow any more to be done to anybody else except for me. But in this situation, Jesse is justifiably angry, and I am justifiably getting a lot of shit. And that's all what needed to happen for me to realize that I was very, very wrong. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody who held me accountable. I'll see you in the next video, and I'm very sorry.
All right. Like I said with hers,
those who want to know more.
I don't care about the apology. It was a little weird, but at the end of the day, just don't do it again, and you should be fine. This is everybody gets one. Oh, okay.